Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. I don't know why, but I'm not getting my microphone to work tonight. So I'm defaulting to the max microphone, which I've heard is pretty good, but I don't know what's going on here. I'm still gonna try to troubleshoot it. But hey, anyways, welcome to a Monday Live. It's good to have you here. Thanks for coming in. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Let me know because I want to make sure everything's good there. I'm trying to keep things balanced on my end here. But yeah, running into some problems here this afternoon. I don't know why the microphone's not working on the rigging. Let's see. Oh, I think I already know why. Why am I having an issue with? It's like my mini studio is like having problems. Let me shut it down. See if we can get this fixed real quick. I'm assuming you can hear me on the microphone. It says I'm recording audio. I haven't checked it myself. Please connect your device. Well, it is connected. Try that. See if. Whoa, there's a studio report open right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and shut that back down. See if this fixes this issue here, guys. Sorry about this. Come on, Mini Studio, work for us here. What do we got going on? Please connect a device. All right, I don't know, man. It's. Oh, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, let me know that in the comments. So you got Cooley in the house tonight. We got hey, what's up, Cooley? Good to see you in the show again. Also got Roy Bixby from down under. Good day. Sorry I'm late. Lost track of time. All right. Let's see. Okay. Audio's good. Okay. Well, we'll just roll with that because I don't know why the task cam's not working. Let me. Audio is good. All right. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I don't know why that stopped, but let's go ahead and dive into. I can hear you now. He says I can hear you now. All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. Well, it's good to have you guys in the room. So real quick, we'll just dive through some Sony Alpha rumors. Let me get my screen shared over here. Screen share. Share it. All right. There we go. So Sony's patented a new 26mm f2.8 lens that is more compact than the actual 24-2.8. So if you're familiar with Sony's three little lenses, they've got a 50mm, a 24, and a 40mm. I think it's in this compact size, like this little lens. It's good little camera, good small compact camera lens. Now, why do they go 26? I mean, when they have a 24, that'd be my question. I don't know. That's a new one to me. I can't think of why they wouldn't have made it something more like a actual 35 or. But anyways, that's something new coming out, and it says it's 5mm shorter than the 24G, which is this lens we're looking at right here on the A7C. I kind of breezed through here real quick. I didn't have too much. Sigma's 10-18 f2.8 reviewed by DA. Like I said, I don't like discussing what others have found on my channel, so it's out there if you guys want to check it out. Tammy on 135.18 hot deal, 160 or $6.99. This is posted $300 off. It's a good deal for 135. I don't know about these Samyang lenses though. Roy says, like the Nikon 26mm, it's a funny size. Yeah, I didn't even know anybody else had one. Is it a 2.8 also, Roy? Let's see here. An A9III made of chocolate. Oh, what a goopy mess that looks like. Pre-orders. Ooh, we got a firmware update on the 100 or 400. There's a new firmware update for a long list of Sony lenses to make them compatible with the A9III. Crazy 120 frame speed, 120 frames a second speed. The A9III is going to ship out late February, so you don't have to rush updating your lens. Okay, so this is interesting because I think we were in on selective imageries show Saturday, if you're joined in on that. They talked about this, that somebody that had the A9III or A9III in their testing said it wasn't compatible with all their lenses. Looks like Sony may be coming up to correct some of those issues in firmware updates. So the actual improvement is add support for continuous shooting with an AF-AE tracking up to a maximum 120 images a second when used with the ILCE A9M3 camera body. Note, during continuous shooting at 60 or 120 images a second, the aperture value of the lens is fixed at the aperture value set at the first image. Either set ISO sensitivity to auto or use the PA shooting mode to ensure appropriate exposure when subject brightness changes during continuous shooting. So that makes sense that they would do that. If somebody knows about the Nikon, I think they said the Z9 shoots 120 frames per second. Does it also lock the aperture when shooting that at that speed? I think, Roy, that's a question for you, I believe. I need a shorter lens and a setting 200 with a rotating color. What do you got with that, Cooley? I'm going to get you guys in here in a little bit if you want to join in. I'm just going to go through my little spiel here, but when we get into the main topic here, we'll get you in here. Nikon's 26 is also f2.8 and overpriced. I imagine the Sony one's going to be overpriced. I think all those little lenses are like $699 for those little guys. They're supposed to be good quality lenses, but let's see. Oh, what happened? Are we out of pages already? Oh, there they are. Okay, I got a bunch of stuff on my desk. I know you guys can't see it, but it's been a mess in here. So 7 Artisan's first automatic lens, IF 50 millimeter 1.8 full frame. That's a big 50 millimeter 1.8 lens. It's got an aperture ring. It's a big lens though. So I like to have my monitor on this side because then it looks like I'm looking at the screen there. I'm looking away from you guys. We'll get that all fixed up here in the next couple coming weeks. Current sales still about the same. I don't know if this 10% off most KEH online store, AE1 for $4,600 or A1 for $4,600. It's a good price for a used camera. This is the video I think we talked about in selective imagery they were talking about. So yeah, go check that out if you're interested in such topics. Message to source, thanks for the info, but what about the new A7S4? So he put in a super reliable and trusted source contact me via rumor box. The only way I can ask him questions is to publishing a post on Sony Alpha Rumor. So here are my questions for him. Thanks for all the info, but can you confirm the A7S4 is coming in 2024 or not? You happen to have some of the info on competition too, hint DJI. When you mention a release period, this is when the product will start to be on the market. Announcement is going to happen 1 or 2 months early, right? I'm sure there'll be more lenses on the ones you mentioned, right? So we haven't got to hear what he said exactly on it. I think there was some specs. I can't remember if we talked about last week or not on A7S4 being a new 20 megapixel sensor. Boy, I can't remember exactly. This is flash station, C-Spin global shutter, the truth. So again, more information is coming out on the A9III and its downfalls possibly. Like I said, I try not to, until I can do my own testing, which I won't be doing a studio shoot with them or Stros. It's possible, though. I do have access to some. So maybe someday down the road, maybe I'll get my hands on the A9III. I don't think I'll be on the front of that list, but maybe. A7 is $200 off and additional $20 cash back. I think we're getting back into, okay, yeah, here's the wild rumors on the A7S4 specs. And I'm going to go over again just in case. I think I did cover this last week. It was this December 7th. No, this is a new one from last week. So 2-layer sensor with crazy ISO performance. It's nearly the A7S3 is nearly 4 years old. So now due to the replacement, but did not get info from trusted sources. The FX3, oh, sorry, so I'm hyphenating my reading. A7S4, I'm still doing it. Sometimes I even wonder if there will even be a new A7S4 because cameras like the FX3 and A9III that can do video perfectly fine too. That's a good question. I still think there's a demand for such a low light king still because there's a lot of incredible footage out there at night that the A7S3 is shot. Effective 19 megapixel sensor similar to the FX9, but with a 2-layer transistor and a large photodiode for 2 times low light. I wish I knew more about sensors. I'm trying to learn that currently. about different designs with it. It'll have a stack sensor, no global shutter, but very low rolling shutter. No anti-aliasing filter, 6K 120, 6K 60, 6K 30, and 6K 24. So it'll be able to do the downsampling. And the reason why I think that's important for Sony to get into is when the A7 IV came out after the A7S III release, the A7 IV had a sharper image essentially than the A7S IV. And that's because of that 6K downsample that they're doing, presenting a 4K image with 6K footage. And the FX30 I'm on does the same thing. So the cameras actually appear sharper than the A7S III. Now, these are very minute details up in the corners, and obviously you have to pixel peep the hell out of the footage to see this. You won't ever really see that kind of detail in a moving picture on a big screen or on a television. But those are the details that people are noticing, and that they found that the A7 IV was maybe a better video camera in that sense, other than, of course, it didn't offer the full frame 120. It'll still do, so it'll produce. So this is going to, I guess, give you a 6K image essentially that you can work with, but also do an oversample from 6K crisp image. I'm guessing it'll do either, was my thought. 8 stops IBIS, standard plus dynamic active stab. I don't know what that is. The 8 stops, as we saw that in the A9III, the sensor is getting better at that. Dual ISO with second ISO at 25,600. Now that is going to be crazy. And where's the first base ISO? Is it still at 800, or did they move that too? A slightly improved AVF screen, which I think they currently have a 9 million dot screen on them. On the EVF, the screen again probably is going to get the new 2 million dot 3-inch screen. I would like Sony to put out a larger screen on the back of the cameras. The standard 3-inch screen that Sony's had for forever. Come on, there we go. That Sony's had on their cameras here. It's great, but it definitely, when it comes to video shooting, it's hard to see detail and whether or not you're fully in focus. Even with focus peaking on, I found limitations with it, that it doesn't always grab focus like it says it is. And I don't know if that's an error in my equipment, because I'm not a professional by any means, but I definitely got to watch out for that. And having a sharper image screen would definitely help with that, or shooting on a bigger screen, which I know we've got to buy more equipment. Better ergonomics, good chance it'll have the A9 Mark III body. That's been the going rate with Sony on all their bodies. No overheating with a new radiator to withstand increased resolution and oversampling. Price increase from $34.99 to $4,000. We're going to start seeing price conditioning on the consumers, guys. They're going to start raising prices to get us used to paying for more expensive bodies. All right, let's get to jump some of these comments between you guys. I need a short lens and 70-200 with a rotating collar, I think is what you meant to say. Yeah, you said that. You corrected yourself there. The Z9 doesn't lock the 120 frames a second, but it is JPEG only. Okay. Does Sony have vertical grips? Yes, they do offer Sony branded vertical grips for all their cameras. You all know what happened to my little Vallejo grip that's left of it. I keep this little stab of it left. Come on, camera, lose my face. Do it this way. There we go. After having to hollow it out of my camera. They do offer the factory grips, and I would like to get my hands on one. And they do make the factory grip for the new A9III that carries over all the functionality with dual batteries and all that. And I did find between the Vallejos or the Mikey grips, the Sony grip is obviously a set match to the camera. You don't see that difference in the plastic or the texture. The Sony grip matches the camera exactly. So that is one nice thing about the Sony grips. Sorry for all the ruckus, guys. All right, so that's I'm gonna probably stop right there. I don't think best gear to scan film with Sony A7R IV. I know there's different stuff out there. I am currently in the process of reviewing that A6600 and trying to get some videos out for that. I've got some scripts written and comparing it a lot, really heavily to the A6700. All right, that's I'm not even scanning to you guys. So so the question of the night, if I'm going to go ahead and open the room up, we'll go ahead and start that process here. Let me get this out here to you guys. Hopefully, I'm going to be questioning anybody that I don't know that comes in the room and wants to activate the stream. We're going to have to join us in the comments at least a little bit, um, moving forward because of what's happened in the past. But let me get this out to you guys. All right. So if I know you, you get in the room. If you don't know me, you gotta start speaking up in the comments. So I'll be more than happy to get to know somebody in the comments and hopefully get them on, because I will be monitoring that moving forward. um, but if you guys don't want to join in, that's perfectly fine too. I understand you might be busy, but the question at hand tonight is, well, I guess I'll give you a few minutes before we get into that. But quick studio update. As you can see, I'm finalizing some lighting a little bit here in the back sides over here with some lights, and got a little bit better glow. I don't know if you saw my video this weekend, but I talked about, I just showed you the quick little, I took the cop out and did a time lapse video. I just updated this. I didn't feel like doing a 40-minute video on how I built this cabinet. I just couldn't do it. I got so much going on right now, and it's just like, it's just one of those things. Chloe says, "Oh man, out of M and M's." I don't know if you're talking about me or you, but yes, I ran out of M and M's. And I actually started dieting this last week before last. I dropped 12 pounds, so I'm just, and I'm not doing any special diet. All I'm doing is just changing my habits. I've killed soda. I'm on tea and water for the most part. I did have a soda today because I was in jury duty and they didn't have much out of the vending machine, so I got a soda there. But I've been trying to be better about my portion control and all that, and so far it's working. It's not a quick fast thing, but I don't want it to be, because I can drop fat weight really fast. But I want it to just be I need to change my habits and start losing some weight. Gotta get below at least 330 where I start breathing and feeling better there. After that I start noticing it. And I'm sorry if you ever hear me breathing, because I find it annoying. I don't hear myself doing it, but when I'm in the edits, I hear it all the time. It drives me crazy. And luckily there's sound editing software that eliminates about 90% of it. Yeah, so let me see here. So the one thing I did get done in the studio tonight, or this weekend, was I've got the cables ran from, they're still not hooked up, they're just in the attic, but I've got an optical cable and an HDMI cable ran from the back of this in the attic over the ceiling and over to the television, and it is dropped down to the wall and plugged into the television. So I've got that hooked up. I've got network wires ran and plugged in and functioning. So the TV is now hardwired. I've got a hardwire coming out for the laptop. So as long as I get my desk in and set up, my live stream setup's going to change completely, but I'll be able to plug into a LAN and get this stream over LAN instead of Wi-Fi, which they say works better, because what I see on the screen right now looks fantastic at what I think it's 720, but and I won't get 1080 unless I pay for StreamYard, which there's no way I can afford to do that right now. But I get the what do you call it? When I look back and watch the lives later to see how they look and make sure everything sounded good, the quality's really dropped and dipped. So I'm hoping getting off Wi-Fi will help at least that. They say it does. So obviously, the fact that I can sit here live and have a conversation with you anywhere in the world, it's an incredible technology, and we can interact in a live setting. So it's got its limitations, but we try to make it better where we can. All right. So, I already showed you that one. Where are we at? Okay. So if you want to get in, jump in, you're welcome to. There's the link, guys. Like I said, if I know you, you're good. If I don't know you and you're not in the comments chatting it up, you're probably not going to get in at this point. So gotta start chat. Hit those comments. Let me know you're there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you're shooting. Let me know what you got going on. The topic at hand tonight is composites. Do you composite? Do you like seeing composites? Do you like producing composites? Or what's your thoughts professionally about them? What are your thoughts on them? in general. Like to me, they don't bother me one bit as long as I know it's composite. You can tell a composite sometimes because as I've learned more with photography, what's possible and what's not possible, what's very hard. There's my like, what's possible and what's not possible in a composite setting or in a photographic setting is does it um, does it look real? I'm getting better at spotting those as I've learned more about photography. So I know there's a lot of new people coming into the scene that are starting out with photography that can't decipher that difference, and it can be deceiving to a person if they don't know it's composite because you got to tell them it's composite because then people have this overrated expectation of what they should be able to produce, and they need to realize that so much work is done on the back end on the computer side, and that's a side of photography I've never really enjoyed. I like do I you know when I first found Lightroom, I like just playing with the sliders, making an image look cool, and be done with it. It shows in my work as I progressed. I think that I'm not as extreme with the sliders. Obviously, I think everything going back and looking at my work, I can tell I was a beginner versus what I may be producing now. I still love vibrant colors. I love that pop. I like that in my work. And I think that my work speaks for myself in that sense. But I don't personally like creating composites. I don't. I've created one composite and I've got it here. Let me share it to you guys. Oh, Cooley, I see you there. Give me a minute here. Um, let me stop that one. Let me pull this one up. Share screen. I got to get it pulled up. So there we go. Just do this. Entire screen. Share. All right. So this is a composite. This is my only composite I've done, and I've taken one of my Milky Way shots I did and overlaid it on the foreground of this rock, or as the background for this rock wall. This is the shot I set out to create that night. The clouds had other plans. It was there. In fact, I can probably scan. Maybe not. That's probably buffering off the hard drive. Well, anyways, the Milky Way was right there. It was right where I wanted it to be. The season I knew I had to, the time frame I had to shoot that in. It was there. But I didn't get the shot I wanted. Now, obviously, I've done a lot of retouch and lighting on this, but this image is the foreground is only edited. It's 100% real. Otherwise, I used my Rotolight Neos, lit up the rock wall, and that was the image I was going for. This is the image I want to create. This is the image I want to capture in real life without the composite sense. So I did do photo stacking. Now, I don't think photo stacking is what do you call it? A cheat. It's just a type of photography, I think. But ultimately, you're capturing what's really there, and that to me is what really matters. So, yeah. Anyways, see. Okay, Cooley. I don't know what happened, but you disappeared on me, man. That was bad. But, anyways, this is the only composite I've ever made, and it was just to show a demonstration of what I was set out to create that night, but wasn't able to. But me personally, and I know a lot of Milky Way photography is and can be composite work, just because of the difference in focusing, the difference in that regard. So there you are, Cooley. Let me get you in here, bud. Hey there, Cooley. Welcome.
Yeah, it looks like my camera's acting squirrely.
All right. Looks like I might be still running some difficulties there. But I want to say I'm going to go back next year and try to get this shot. I really want this shot, and it's a lot of work to light that wall up and set up the lighting for it and get it done. But that's what it's about to me is trying to go out and create something like this. And I love lighting foreground for long exposure work, because like to my naked eye, I couldn't see the raw rock wall lit up. But once you, of course, this is the post process edit on this image here, and then of course it's the composite on the stars. But it's a lot of fun. This is the kind of work I really enjoy, is this kind of landscape stuff. Let's see here.
Oh,
there he is.
Sometimes
Get your audio fixed. I got no audio unless I just can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Let me make sure I can hear you, Cooley. Hold on.
That's
this
okay.
is going back to my. Let me plug this in here, maybe.
Hello. Now I can't hear you at all.
Nope.
Oh, can't hear me?
Hold on. Let me get to my settings. Let me fix this.
My thing's lit up.
There you go. There it is. Now I'm going.
Hallelujah.
I got you now. Yeah.
Hey, you're talking about composites. The composites I usually do, I don't know, lately it seems like everybody wants me to do, and it sounds crazy, but it's decent cash, school pictures. Now, school pictures, we do the composites because what happens is you're not a slave to the schedule of, because usually I'll always do the individuals, then I'll do the group shot. Well, I just do the individuals and then composite, like like a 6x9 or 5x7 sheet with all the images of them with their names underneath each one of them, and that's because that way you're not a slave to their time frame. You're controlling your time frame. You know what I mean?
So you're getting individual subjects, shooting them, and then putting them all in one picture.
Yeah.
So well, it's
basically a little square, like I don't know. I call them prison shots. Where they. But it's like if there's 12 kids in the class, there's 12 squares.
Like a yearbook.
Huh?
Is it like a yearbook, like individual
pictures
put
like
on a page?
Kind of thing.
Okay. You're not taking like a picture of a park and then putting them all standing in the image.
Well, I can because I've got software that'll drop in backgrounds on and do all that stuff too. But,
So you take the first person, you pose them out over here on the left. The next person, you got to take 2 steps to the right, and then.
And I go, please let this work. Please let this work. Please let this work.
Right.
And some kids
Yeah, from an artistic standpoint, I mean, obviously it's a type of art, but like, do you think, what are your thoughts when you look at an image and you say, well, that's definitely a composite? Is it something you enjoy still looking at, or do you just say, I'd rather see a natural image?
See, the other part of the composite stuff, I do a lot of green screen stuff. So if they come in to have a portrait done, I give them like maybe 3 or 5 different backgrounds to choose from, and usually it's I've done a consultation. I say, hey, what colors are you wearing? Blah blah blah, all that stuff, and I kind of focus those backgrounds in on what colors I know they're going to be wearing. Every once in a while, it gets a little weird because their red is more like a fuchsia or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. I know I want to start doing some studio work in here now. I've got the space for it. It's going to be way down the road because I've got way too many other things I got to be doing to spend money on some of this stuff.
I told you about that they're having that sale on. I picked up a couple myself actually. The 2 8200s. All it has the Fresnel head and the bare bulb head, and then it has a AB2 head, which means you can take the 2 heads, combine them to one head, and it's got LED modeling lights built in, and you just plug in the 2 flash tubes and you're golden. The only thing I don't like about that, I don't know, it's never been a problem. I never had that problem. Is I always worry about the heat of the strobes, because if I do like 300, 500, 600 shots, I mean, I'm always worried about it's going to get like a little warm. Then I go to I got 8600s, which are fan cooled and all that stuff. So if I'm doing like a bigger shoot, I usually shift to those.
Okay. So. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to get going with. I want to start practicing with. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but
Mhm.
it's gonna happen eventually. But yeah, got a lot of winter projects stacking up on me, and like I
I
said,
know.
the studio build's definitely, and I wouldn't say necessarily getting in the way of it. It's just one of those things I need to get done to kind of clear it off my plate, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well, the room you're putting the studio in, how high are the ceilings?
they're 8 foot.
8 foot.
Yeah,
See, I took my garage and converted it to a studio. I mean, it's like it's like 9 feet tall.
yeah.
I mean, so it kind of works, but I've been in the process. Like, in fact, tomorrow I'm gonna go talk to a realtor guy, and I'm looking for some storefront space somewhere. I mean, because
Hmm.
it's kind of nice to get out of that, like I call it the weird karma, and go to somewhere where it's kind of like just individual. You know what I mean? And close the door. You kind of go. Ah. Although I'm really ever off. If they need to get a hold of
Yeah,
me, get a hold of me. But
right. Well, one thing I've definitely enjoyed with like having this up here now is it's not in the way at all. Like in the
cool.
previous to when I was in the master bedroom, the master bath still had to function. We were still
Yeah,
going through to use that. And so if I had a camera and a tripod up, I always had to move it. Up here, I can really just shut it down and walk out the door. You know, I don't have
yeah,
to move anything. And that's been really nice. I'm still obviously over a period of a week. I'm never set up for live. I'm setting up at 8 o'clock, and then like, oh, I never even put a thing out. Because I
hmm
I try to remember like Sunday, hey, I got to put out a live feed thing. That I'm going to have it Monday, and um, yeah, it's just and I'm trying to get these little projects done, and like even the cords I put in the wall, I didn't film any of that just because I didn't think people would find it that interesting because every situation is different. Not everybody has access to their ceiling or to the back wall like I do in this room. So it may be interesting to somebody, but the effort it takes me to record it and do it versus just getting it done triples.
yeah,
And I just wanted to get this project done because I got to get my desk in here and built and set up so it can be more of a permanent setup. Right now, everything's always on this table, and the table I'm on is getting used, and I'm always having to do this project, or I have to clear stuff off to do this, and I want to get it. I want to get my editing station set up in place. So
yeah.
over this next week, getting the cables ran. I've put my wall drops in. I've got my power strip mounted down on the wall. I've got my network adapter mounted on the wall. I've got a new network adapter for the rest of the room, so I can branch off and send all these
hmm
things. And that's been a big check off to get that done.
hmm
Making the stereo function and have loud music in here is not a priority to me right now, but
Can't beat good music.
it'll
Rock,
happen.
you're
Yeah,
motivated.
right.
I think I ticked off people in downtown Hobart because it was a really nice day. I had my moonroof open, and I got like 800-watt stereo in the car with subwoofers,
Uh
and I was, I hate to say it, I was rocking out the Marilyn Manson, and everybody
huh.
downtown Hobart went like, "Hey, old guy, I'm an old guy. I still like Marilyn Manson." What can I say? And
Yeah.
others, Power Man 5000 and stuff like that. Anyway,
Yeah, it's that'll all get done. I've got to get the desk set up, and that's a big chunk of wood, and I'm like, I've got to get down, I got to sand it, I got to stain it, I got to acrylic it, and I'm like, it
now
looks good the way it is. Maybe
are
I'll
you
just stick it in.
Are you going to set up the base where, because I found too, you can get the bases now that either hydraulic or electric, where you can kind of raise it up and lower it down, do all that stuff.
Uh, I'm not, and the reason why is one money. I've already spent probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 in the studio venture,
Oh,
if
wow.
not more, and I'm not done doing what I've got done. I've spent I spent $150 in paint, or $200 probably with paint and materials. I spent
Did you paint it yourself?
um,
You have somebody do it for you?
no, I painted it myself.
Uh,
I've got got the wood and all that for that cabinet. I would say some of it I had laying around. I had to go make a Home Depot run. That was $200 on that alone. The lighting, I have bought a lot of new lights, so that's another $100. But I bought like all these little lights behind me on a clearance.
They're there.
Yeah, and these are just plug and play pot lights. Now I just put them in the hole and they work. And let me just I can go in here to the app on the phone, and I can change the color. So I've got an office space set up. So like the electronics cabinet, I can change it right here from the phone to just about anything I want. And then I've got my custom color set, which is the blue. And then I can go into just a full color wheel. And, on the app, I've got a color wheel.
I have a friend of mine that's using those for LED lighting for during the wedding when they're doing like the window light stuff, and they'll kind of add like a cool like blue tone to the shadow area. They'll have another one coming from behind that's blue that does the like a little bit of separation light on the, say the bride and groom are by the window and stuff, but the rest of the church is kind of dark. See, that's cool. I think I just saw you turn. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yes.
Yeah, see, I can.
I'm a geek at heart, man.
I like it. It's I can manipulate it any way I want, and that gray works with the color.
Does it have like a strobo thing where it just does random colors like real fast? That'd be kind of cool.
I think so.
Oh, there you go. So I'd be the one having the and I go, hey. Anyway.
So there's it's called candlelight. I don't know if you can see.
That's cool.
So here's party.
So it's got enough power because the wall's blue, correct? Like it's in your little.
The wall's dark gray.
Dark gray, but yeah. I thought like that cove was like a blue. It's
the dark gray. It's the dark gray. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The color I had on there was blue.
See, that's cool.
Here's Christmas.
Uh-oh.
I think it just flashes green and red.
Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna have to add some more stuff to my toys. It's all your fault.
Yeah. But what's cool is I found these lights on clearance at Home Depot for $7 a piece.
Yeah.
So I take advantage of sales when I find them.
Or a real pretty inexpensive cart. Home Depot has it's like basically the step that you use to step up to get up high to paint your walls and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the way it folds, and you put wheels on the bottom, it becomes like a really inexpensive cart used to haul your stuff from location to location.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought that was like what? Because the guy was showing how he took a board, a nice thick it was like oak or something he made, and cut it to the size and put it in there. He's got two shelves, one on top, one on the bottom, and he just rolls it wherever he wants to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of those like Bill Beach wagons that have the big wheels on it that can handle going down a dirt trail, and they work good for calling out tripods or lights and stuff.
I found they get a little weird on the sand though if you go to.
Definitely they would drag them in the sand if they're heavy. Like I know that for sure. But
especially me, where it looks like I'm always running away from home with my stuff,
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I've got those lights. I did finally get lights behind the TV, so that I have the same setup, but it's a rope light. And then I bought on Amazon. I had to up my lighting game with red or LED ribbon. So I found out you buy these kits.
Yeah.
That come with little cords that create 90-degree bends.
Oh yeah.
And then it comes with the adapter plate for the plugs. And you plug this out. You have to stick this is a 6-wire for a 6-wire, which does natural color. But
cool.
It's a little plug that goes in, and then you put your wires on the other half of it, and then I take it down to my garage. It's got these metal plates that stick out of it. I don't know if I'll be able to get it on camera.
Oh, that's cool.
But those metal plates, you hammer them into the wire, and it locks it all together.
Oh, wow.
And creates a connection. So instead of running a ribbon cable, around a 90 where it really does a weird fold, you put this wire in, and then the wire does the fold, and the light stays straight. So you get a more proper bend. And then I also got these, and I haven't even opened the box. I'm just open it up to take a look. Good old Amazon to the rescue here.
Oof.
Put my knife on me because I had to go to the dang courthouse today.
You still have M&M's here? Yeah. Oh.
These are tape, damn it. These are panels that the rope light goes into.
Oh.
And like I said, I haven't opened these up yet. Bought a few of them. They really pack this thing in there, don't they? It's making me get another. Do I have an extra one in here?
You ever notice that the wrapping on the stuff is getting so ridiculous? It's like you need a blowtorch to open them up now, you know?
Oh yeah, so it's nuts. Especially when you're buying a pair of scissors that comes wrapped up in a hard plastic shell, and
Oh,
it tells
yeah.
you use
Oh,
scissors
yeah.
to cut it.
Yeah. Okay, little saw thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm hoping these will work with the lights I got. I haven't looked. I'll have to change my lights up. But you can buy. So I did a lot of research on LED strip lighting, and my old setup was just, if you remember, it was just a blue strip behind me, and you could see the blue highlight spots from the light itself. And did my research. Everybody's like, that just tells me you're not doing it right. And I'm like, I got to do it right. So,
Yeah, my cool thing, my daughter, I haven't put them up yet, but my daughter for Christmas picked me up these like little LED lights, but they're like the strip is like paper thin, and you can do like the different colors to them and stuff like that.
yeah.
So the plan is when I redo my office, I'm gonna put them underneath the counter and have them light up. So anyway.
So this is a corner bar, and this will go in the wall corner.
Cool. And then how does that plug in? What does it plug into?
Well, it's just a metal strip.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought maybe it lit up or something.
And the LED strip goes down the middle of it, and then it's got the diffuser panel. Come on. I can already tell these are probably going to be too small for what the light strips I bought. It might stick down in there. It might. Come on. Okay, there we go. This clicks on and creates a bulb effect, to where it should all light up evenly,
mm-hmm.
And
cool.
you don't get those hot spots, and then it can mount into the corner. So I was going to put some of these in the back corner back here like this.
Oh yeah.
And have them light up as a highlight to the color, or contrasting color or something.
Dude, I wish I lived closer to you, man. I'd be like over there helping you like a 900%,
Yeah, it's been fun. It's just a slow process. I spend what time I can up here and do that. But I got 2 whole packs of these things so I could do the ceiling and everything. But learning about it, I learned I need to just buy a strip of LED rope that's really long and find the power for it, because it's really easy to use these connectors and make this stuff work. So, and make bends.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I got the TV lit up, so I guess I could turn the camera maybe. Let's see if I can make this work.
There you are.
There's the TV light up.
So what is that light source I'm seeing reflecting? What is that, like a softbox?
That's my softbox for my key light.
Oh, okay.
Not quite right there. Looks like about where it was. So, but that those lights on the TV use the same app, so I can control it. I can make it a zone. I can program effects into it and have it do a program. Kind of cool stuff. So I got 2 more of those rope lights to put in, so I'm gonna definitely put some around my desk. And then I've got 2 32 footers. I got 64 foot of that.
Oof.
To run, and I was hoping it fit in the strips. It might. I hope it does.
Yeah. So far, my quest for looking from some studio space, I found one place. It's kind of little, not really off the beaten path, but just close enough to the beaten path to make it interesting. I think the whole area is, I want to say 24 by 30 or 40. It's a little bigger than a square, I guess you call it. But the rent's like dirt cheap. It's like $850 a month. At least I think that's cheap. Because the other places I've been looking at, 12, 1500, 3500. You're like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Roy jumped back in. He's back again. What did I miss? Everything, Roy. You missed everything.
Oh.
No, we've been just chit chatting and talking about the lighting in here and a little bit of the studio update. So he's asked
Roy what
well, you're asking him now.
Nikon lens what lens is shorter than a 70 to 200 2.8 that has a collar that can rotate the camera body if I'm doing a shoot. Are there any other ones? Because all I ever see him is on 7200s. I never see him on anything shorter than that.
Why? It has like a tripod foot.
Yeah. Because this is. I'll give you an example. Yesterday,
I think the Sigma 35 to 150 does that.
It does. So that's nicer because it's not as long as the 200 at least.
Let me pull it up.
Long as it's an F mount, that would be cool. I don't know if it's an F mount or not, but
let's see, Sigma.
Kind of scoping out KEH, but KNH, but I don't know. I just kept going and going and going and going.
I don't. Wow, this thing's not. This thing ain't cheap.
What, about $3,000?
No, it's cheaper than that. I guess $1,800, $2,000. But the Nikon Z mount's $2,000.
Whoa!
It's a Tamron, not a Sigma. Tamron. I don't see a tripod collar, but I wasn't there isn't there an aftermarket solution for that also? That gives.
Oh, I gotta look that up. It was just kind of something I started looking for today a little bit,
But the 35-150 it seemed like a really interesting lens because it's a good range of focal length.
Yeah.
For kind of a carry-it-all. It might be small enough.
Dates and everything on it.
Yeah.
Huh. It's got to be something out there. I mean, either new or used, Because I have another one. I have a Nikon 80 to 200, but they never put them up. It never came with a like a vertical horizontal mount that you can rotate.
Right. Roy, to answer your question about the stereo wire, so what I did is there's a drywall panel here in the back of the cabinet back here, and behind the equipment there's a small cutout near the bottom, about 12 by 10 inches or so. And behind that cutout is a piece of wood that's screwed to the back of the framework. So I still got to figure out how to get the wires in cleanly. And I think I have an idea in my mind to do it. I just haven't gone to look at it to see if it's possible yet in the way I built the framework. But I'll unscrew that big board, and it's a big piece of 5/8 plywood I have actually bought hinges for that will, when I unscrew it, I can just fold it and open and close it. And I've got some gasket material somewhere I brought in from way back in the day, an old Mercedes-Benz recall that has put gasket around the taillights, and they came on this big roll, and I have a big roll of it. So it'll work perfect as a gasket to seal it off from the attic. But the plan is to be able to open that door up and then have access through that little 12x1 to get to the back of the equipment. And I got to get shelving still made for the equipment, because right now it's all just stacked on top of each other, which isn't the best. And then, like I said, I ran an HDMI cable and an optical cable along with 2 network wires directly behind this wall over the ceiling, and it goes over and drops into the wall from above it. So to cut a hole in the subfloor above me, which would be the 3rd story of my house, essentially. I cut a hole in it and I drop it right down into the wall, and then it comes out the hole behind the TV, and I plug the TV and all that stuff in back there. So that's how I get to the stereo wires.
Now, are you going to put any like little fans back there to kind of help with the?
Yes. So there's 2 options. There's a gap between this area here that I thought about ducting.
Yeah.
And be able to pull air out of the cabinet. And my dad actually gave me a pair of USB fan plate that's like a rack mount you can screw onto a wall, and it'll pull air out and make a quick little duct that vents it out to this wall here, or put it in the back underneath everything to where it'll curl air out and then blow it out right here in the front into some like little round vents or something.
See, that's cool.
So I do have that kind of to figure out still as far as cooling. It's another reason why I'm not in a huge hurry to hook it all up. Roy says, I can't think of a shorter than 7200 that has a collar, not a Z mount anyways. I'd prefer the 24-120 than the 35-150. Right. I think that's important too. Is that the Z mount also, the 24-120? There's 80-200 has a foot, or his 80-200 has a foot. Getting to the back of the stereo computer gear is often a problem. Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm hoping this, while I didn't make it as user-friendly because I thought about, like, 1, I thought resale, and then 2, I thought, how to keep it where it looks like there's not a big whole door back there. And I wanted to finish it. So if somebody doesn't have a stereo, or maybe I want to get rid of the stereo and I want to put something in there for display, there's not this massive hole that just doesn't look right there. So I tried to think of how I can clean it up. So there's a sheet of a drywall sheet and then a little cutout. And if you watch the video on it with the time lapse, you get to briefly see me doing that process. But I'll probably do a follow-up to it when I'm hooking it up, or record something like that, and actually, kind of show the process of getting the wires through and just show what I did to do it. I didn't record doing it because I just wanted to get it done. But that's been the process for now.
I just had a thought. What about what do they call them, like L mounts? The ones that go on the bottom, come to the sides, kind of for protecting the wires come out side of your camera, but they have the mount edge that you put on your tripod. You know what I mean?
Oh, the L bracket. Yeah. So I like L brackets. I don't have one. I want to get one because I've seen them used in the field. And
I just want something I can kind of go vertical or horizontal easier, So.
I bought these piston tripods too. Well, they're not the best tripod in the world. I've got a light on it here. But the pistol grip, it can rotate.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's true too. I could just done it just.
the problem with it is
Got one of
it's
those.
only key to rotate in that one direction with this
Mhm.
notch.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's the issue I was having with mine yesterday. You know.
yeah, so it works, but it doesn't. The tripods aren't the best, and they're this
Yeah.
particular tripod isn't a standard mount. It's their
Man, I
mount
saw
only.
a really, really, really nice tripod, but I refuse to spend $800 on a tripod. Like, good grief, you know?
These L brackets are good for landscape photogs.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can switch it real quick, especially if you have a quick release plate. You can pop it back and forth real quick.
yeah,
But the ones I've seen, I want to get one for my A7R2 after losing the battery grip, because I still like having the pinky coverage on my camera. Pop
yeah.
this off. I still
What
like
was that, a
having that.
microphone?
No, this is my Sony
I
A7R2.
know, but the thing you just took off, what is that?
Oh, this is the PNG
Oh, little
Tech
tripod. Oh,
tripod.
okay. Oh, okay. It looked like a microphone that was sticking out where you could like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's got the tripod, but then it also it folds out different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually hold it here, and this pops up, and I can move the tripod or the bracket up here to have a handle extension for vlogging.
Oh, wow.
And then it does this cool trick. Let me put the camera back on it so you really see it. This is one of the coolest tricks if you're ever out like in a vlogging environment. You got the ball head for your camera, but you've got this hanger. So if I get the camera in the right spot on it. Come on. I think I gotta reposition. I just slapped it on here, so I gotta reposition something. But yeah, you can like hang this on a fence, a post, or whatever,
Oh my gosh.
and create a. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm doing wrong. There's like so many different positions with it.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
like this. So
Hey, question. So does Sony still have the Carl Zeiss lenses, or they got away from that?
they still have them.
Yeah.
They're old tech right now.
Oh, okay.
The 55 Zeiss is still probably one of the best lenses you could buy for a Sony.
Yeah.
The 35 Zeiss had hit and miss, and they're talking about the 1.4. They made a 2.8 also. That was a really small, little compact little lens. I really liked it. It just it didn't deliver amazing results. But they were built to a Zeiss standard by Sony. And that was the branding deal that I think they had with Sony, because all their cameras had the little Zeiss logo on the side of them for a while.
Yeah.
These lenses had a little Zeiss logo. You can still buy them, and they became very affordable because Sony released those the GM versions of them, like the Sony 35-1.4.
Because Carl Zeiss used to make some really killer glass. That's all you saw in the Hasselblads.
Yeah, and so they made the 35-1.4 and released it at, I think, $1,400. It's on sale for $13 right now. But this Distagon
yes,
Zeiss lens, I owned this lens for a little while. I thought this thing was a razor. I mean, it was phenomenal on depth of field and like cutting somebody out of an image. You shot it at 1.4 and you put somebody in a landscape scenario. It thing was just a razor. I really, really liked this lens. I hated to give it up, but it has an incredible. All of them have incredibly good build quality. They feel like they're real metal. They were really nice lenses, and brand new, $1,000, 35-1.4.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great lens still. They made that one. They made a 50-1.4, which I have never had my hands on. Similar. and then they made the 55 Zeiss, which is just small, compact, just an amazing lens for the Sony system, I think. And I had that lens also. I sold it when I got rid of the 35 also, and mainly just because I wasn't using the 55 millimeter as much. And I hate giving up glass, but it was just stuff sitting in the bag I wasn't utilizing.
Yeah.
And I just had to make choices, you know.
I need to do a little purging myself too. So I hear you.
Yeah. So, you know, someday maybe I'll find another deal on them and redo it. But Roy said, a cage is more useful than an L bracket. Let me catch up on here. There's some of these comments real quick. You can attach more to a cage than an L bracket. I agree with that. I found the cage was always really bulky in my bags every time I put them on my cameras, because I have the full cage here for my A7III when I had it, you know, and while I can get my A7R into it, it doesn't quite fully bracket down, but I can use it in a pinch. But it just adds a lot of bulk to the actual camera body itself, especially a big full cage like this. There's some half cages and other options that are out there. But for photography, I didn't like cages.
Changing the head on my tripod to like a pistol grip of some sort, you know, where it's kind of like that and like that.
Yeah, you can flip it back and forth.
Yeah, because.
And Roy says the Sony Zeiss lens is not as good as the original Zeiss lenses. I would agree with that to some extent, because I've seen some amazing results out of them.
You know that the spy satellites in the 60s and 70s had all Carl Zeiss lenses, glass on them.
Yeah.
And then you could read a license plate from however far out in space you are. It was nuts.
Did you see my Zeiss icon I bought?
No.
The old film camera?
No, I must have missed it.
Yeah, I had that in the show. Manfrotto and Vanguard still make tripods with pistol grips.
Yeah.
Let me grab it real quick. I'll show that to you. I know Roy's seen it a handful of times probably already.
See, I like the old stuff though, man, but it doesn't seem like that's a trend anymore.
Yeah, so I found this thing at the antique store for $40 and pretty much had to have it. It comes in the original leather case.
Oh my gosh.
It
looks like something from like 1960s, but it's kind of cool.
So this is 1959 to 62 is what I figured out this thing is.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, the glass.
Let me get them.
Does it have like a built-in flash? Is that what the thing in front is?
No, it's the light meter. It's the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man, I love old stuff like that.
But this thing's a tank, man.
I can only imagine.
It's got a lot of weight to it. But the thing's immaculate. I found there's a little dent on top here. Let me get it out of the right light, but right up here, there's a little nick.
Yeah.
And it's. Did
you find it like in a camera store or something, or what?
At just an antique store.
Oh wow.
Same place I found all my other.
I don't know if you're a Trekkie man, but I found like 2 or 3 different Starship Enterprises at an antique store of all places. But
oh really? Yeah, this one's got a lot of the old Star Trek toys and stuff like that. This one, the front element is what you change on this camera. So I take the element out. That's what you have. This is the main camera lens.
Oh my gosh!
And this is the Carl Zeiss Tessor 52.8.
Oh my gosh!
So that's what you change on. They made a 135, a 50, the 35, and an 85. And
is that the only one you have, or did you get the other ones with it?
This is the only one I have, but the other ones are on eBay, and they're not that much, like $20, $30 a piece. So I'm going to be buying some of them. and it's
So
got the
obviously it's a film camera, right?
yes, it's a film camera. It functions. Got a leaf shutter in it. Everything works. When you turn this dial, you see the lens move.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
For that's your aperture control.
Yeah.
You've got your shutter control on it. It's got a bulb mode. It's got long exposure. It's all like you turn this one, it kind of like automatically rotates one ring to the other. To keep everything I guess the appropriate meaning. It's got the this little switch on the bottom here. You flip it for your timer, so your self timer, so you can
Oh my
get in
God.
front of the camera if you wanted. And of all the old cameras I found, this is by far my favorite. I can't wait to load some film into it and just go take it out.
So where do you send the film to be processed?
I don't know. I've got a local shop here that does it. I'll probably go to them for the first
Oh,
initial
okay.
thing, but I don't know how long they're going to still do it. They're actually the Sony retailer here in town, along with Canon and Nikon. But
Uh-huh.
when I discovered them 8 years ago when I moved here, they were overpriced, over MSRP usually.
Yeah.
And then if they didn't keep up with the sales, they didn't have some of the gear. It was just dying off their photo business. And I bought my 85G Master through them to try to support them, but that didn't seem to help much. So
Yeah.
they're still there as a hobby. They got into guns. They're selling a lot more guns now, to stay in business. But I don't know if they're still the Sony dealer or not. Because I'd like
Yeah.
to have something like that.
Yeah.
Camera store.
I wonder how much it costs you to get a where you're a Sony rep and sell Sony stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll at least be a little
I
cheaper. Maybe.
I am now a Sony affiliate, though.
There you go.
How did that happen?
So yesterday I was
haven't
watching.
figured out the links yet.
So yesterday I was watching this video, and there's this couple that have a studio in North Carolina that do they talk about business and marketing and all that stuff and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like hardcore Sony users.
Right.
And they got, I don't know, what's the new Sony, the A7, whatever it is. And Sony sent them all the cool stuff that goes with it. And I'm like, and they got two of them. And I'm like, what the heck? Man, I mean, can you imagine what that costs? Of course, they're all 45 megapixel cameras, right? So I believe,
Yeah.
Man,
I
want to grow up be like that.
Well, I don't know if you saw my video going down to the Sony event in Austin and meeting some of the guys down there.
Yeah.
Let's just say I made it through the door.
And start crying because I can't afford all this stuff.
I had my toes dipped in the door since I don't know, last May, I guess, and yeah, it's becoming more of a bigger thing now.
Yeah, I wish I could become because I'm of course a little more hardcore Nikon stuff, but man, I wish I could be like Jerry Gionis or one of those people that are like hardcore Nikon reps. He's using nothing but Z9s, and he's got that Plena lens and stuff, and man.
Yeah, the
camera with what's a copal shutter?
Yeah, I don't know what a copal shutter is. I love any camera with a copal shutter. Enlighten us, Roy. Teach us. If film still came with mailers, then I'd probably shoot film again. What's the mailer?
Oh, you used to be able to mail the film in and then like to New York, and then they'd send it back to you.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Gotcha. Just using a Z with a Plena. Was that your question?
Well, Well, that I guess everybody's saying that Plana is like absolutely off the hook as far as sharpness.
Oh yeah, that new with the was it a 135?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what though? Here's the thing. Any fixed focal lens is going to be sharp because there's less elements to deal with, right?
Yeah, I mean, a primes are always going to be better than a zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, the zooms are pretty impressive too.
But yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm a little bit of a lazy old guy. So I like a 70-200 or a 24-70 or those lenses, and they're not bad. But I mean, you'll never beat it like
I
a fixed focus.
I've always liked primes after having several different lenses.
Yeah.
Um, I absolutely love my 100 to 400 when I had it. I want if they make a version 2, I'm gonna want to get it. I'm really tempted to get the 200 to 600 zoom. I got to use that at the Sony event on the A1,
Mhm.
and it's a phenomenal lens. It's built really well. It seemed like it had a great image out of it, but it's not one of their primary G master lenses. It's just a G lens, and it's used. You can pick them up for $1,500, $1,600. They're not that bad for a 200 to 600 full frame. Yeah, it's only a 6.3 at 600, but I found with my 100 to 400, I was constantly stepping down to f11 to get a bird in focus.
Huh.
It's just f8 it'd be too narrow, too shallow of a depth of field at 400 millimeter.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
But it's definitely I lived at 400, and I love compression. I love the look it gives. So
Yeah.
I always shoot at a higher compression. I love getting 85 out and shooting with it, for photos or just shooting in general. But they don't do landscapes, doesn't do lastro. That's why I love my 24, and I try to use my 24 and my 85 in conjunction with each other when I can. That's why I like having those two primes. And I've got my 24 105, which is just convenient. And I like having a zoom when I'm not out. It's not about photography. It's about just capturing moments. I love the zoom for that. This is the 24 105 on this is just my go-to. Like I'm going to go just have it to take pictures and create memories, where when I want to take a photograph, I like using the 24 or the 85.
Mhm. I've been seeing this. Other people. I guess the really big thing now is the that Leica Q2. That looks like a cool. It's like a really tiny, full frame camera. I guess. I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're well. Those are the luxury items at this point,
Yeah.
and for something like that, how much they are for the lenses and the camera bodies. But I mean, if you
Because
got
it
the
seems
money,
like
why not?
in the real world, at least in my head, I buy something that says, okay, how long is it going to take me to recoup this loss?
Right. So Roy says the CCD shutter reads a line of photocells at a time. A CMOS reads each pixel at a time, and a global shutter reads all the photo site pixels at the same time.
Huh.
Did that answer with a copal shutter, Roy? And then he says, "Okay, this is the bombshell right here. I don't have my sound effects working. Nikon Planet is one of the greatest lenses I've ever used.
Whoa. Poof.
It's time to
Hail Nikon. Hail Nikon.
time to step it up, Cooley. Time to step it up.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. If I go to the Z stuff, I'm gonna need at least three camera bodies. I'm gonna need 3 or 4 lenses or maybe 5 lenses. So over $10,000 later.
Like I've always said, if there's one feature that'll make me switch to Nikon over Canon, it's the damn illuminated buttons. And the Z8's a nice camera. I've held it. But every time I go to the Best Buy, and it's been there like 4 times, or I've had the chance to go sit down. I'm like, I'm going to go handle the Z8 for a little bit here on the counter. It's dead.
You're like tempted to go over to the dark side, huh?
It never works. And while I always have Sony cameras, there's nothing wrong with having something else in the bag. But
so what? For like a grand difference, you can get a Z9 with with the built-in vertical grip and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd enjoy something big like that. I mean, I think there's a place for it, obviously, but I don't think
Yeah.
myself personally, I'm used to these small bodies, and I found, I just put it away too, but I had that 6600 here with me right now, and I love the form factor, how small and easy the camera is to hold for the power, the ability it has in it.
Uh,
That's what I like, and I've never been big on these big giant cameras that I know everybody in the world has had all their whole careers. I've always had smaller Sony digital cameras until and even before the mirrorless time. I've had that.
why is it focusing here but not focusing here?
Leica cameras are more for the bling than using, but I love their lenses.
Yeah.
I work in a dark studio. Love these LED buttons, dude. So I was at the Sony event. They're like, "Hey, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do you want to see? What features do you want?" And I got stuck on the FX30 with one of the gentlemen. I said, "Dude, you guys got to put on some sort of auto switch on the screen because I'm constantly just closing the screen to shut the camera off, and that's what my little ZV pocket camera does." Well, this camera doesn't do that. It has a master on-off switch, and I'm constantly shutting the screen, walking away, and come back to a dead battery. And it's like a habit I haven't been able to I'm getting better, but I haven't broken it yet. And I said, man, you guys got to put a blinking status at that screen shut. You need to put something flashing. You got all these LEDs all over the camera for the record lights. I said, make them flash or something that, hey, I'm on, or give me the option, because I asked him, I says, does the camera know the screen's closed? And I'm pretty sure it does. So if it is closed, can't just have it as a menu option to shut the camera off, because you can do that on the ZV-1. You can have the screen closed and the camera shuts off, or you can push the power button. But because it's the button's just a button on off, with this you have to have the master switch on or off. And I don't know if they'll be able to figure that out. But I said, just give me a freaking light that flashes, And so they took that back. But then I totally forgot to tell them, give me a camera with lit up buttons. I don't know. Nikon must hold a patent and they're holding on to that one or something, because I can't believe they don't do it. And I don't think Canon does either. But I mean, for astrophotography, when I'm out there in the pitch black, the only light I have is the screen coming on, because the screen will go black when you open the shutter. But it's sure nice to be able to, because my hands go numb. I can't feel the buttons, and you try to remember where they're at. But if you can't feel them, you're not doing any good. So I'd love to have lit up buttons. And the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, there's the answer.
The first time I was doing night photography, I was going through Menards of all places, and they had these skull caps, and they have like a little light that you tap, and it's like on the skull cap kind of thing.
Yeah.
Stuff. And man, I discovered that. I said, who needs lighted up buttons now, man?
Yeah, that's what I do. I carry a headlamp I run and turn it on and off, and it's got, got a red mode to keep your eyes.
Though, you can plug it into a USB and charge it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm like, done deal. I think I got them. I got. They were like $10 a piece. I think I bought like 2 or 3 of them, because I have a bad habit of eventually losing all of them anyway. You know what I mean? So
I need to make a little special hot shoe attachment that comes down and just illuminates the back of the camera or something. The LED.
Yeah. Well, remember they used to make the laptops with the. In fact, I have one here now that you plug into your USB of your laptop, and it has like a little light on the end, and you just like flip it over your keyboard on your laptop.
I wonder if you could plug something like that into the camera's USB port. I mean, not a Type A probably, but like a Type C, a newer modern Type C. I wonder if it would power it.
It would be cool. Food for thought.
I gotta find one of those little, test it out. I gotta find one of those little lights.
Yeah.
When I use my Sony,
people are saying the 1950s call, they want their stuff back.
Yeah. Says Roy says when I use my Sony or Hasselblad, I really miss those LED buttons. Yeah, I bet they get used to them. Headlamps are great for blinding peers. Yeah, that too. I use them for light painting too. I got it. I'll use it. I have a power bank attached. I have a power bank attached. I will add an external LED. Yeah. That would be the answer, I guess, for short term, but you still got to be able to shut the light off to do long exposures at night.
I just had a thought. He gave me an idea.
Let's see if your light works.
And okay, it had an on button. It's around here somewhere. Hello. Well, it's not charged, but it does fit into a USB. I know, can't take me in. It plugs into that. You just kind of
you
can just mount it to the leg of your tripod. Think about it.
Yeah, that would work.
Walaski. There you go.
There's options.
Or we're just geeks out of control.
What's fun is buying a $5,000 camera though.
And it's so much you feel so much better when you drop that $5,000, right?
Well, yeah. For like a day.
Or like 4 hours, and you go, oh crap, how am I gonna generate cash to pay for this now?
Yeah, why did I just buy that? Oh gosh. Yeah, it's
see, now it's focused. What happened? I wonder. I don't know.
Roy, we've been talking. One of the things you missed, I guess, is my main topic.
Have Roy just jump on live. It's easier, faster, less typing.
Roy, you want to jump in? There's the link.
I know you do. You really want to. I know you do.
Share another one if I can.
Once you skip typing, it's a whole new world.
Invite, copy, paste. I'll throw it out there. Anybody want to try and jump in, Roy, you can. That's not the question at hand is, did it go? The question at hand is, composite imaging. Have you done it? Do you like it? Do you like looking at composite images versus like a natural image? So you haven't answered that question for us in tonight's topic. He says, I'm trying to retire, so I will miss writing off the cost on gear on tax. My studio is upstairs without an air conditioner. It's 120 degrees today here. Which means he ain't coming on. Man, why no air conditioning in the studio? That's where you got to keep it like 70.
He's like in Australia, right? So
yeah, he's up there in Australia.
It's always 7,000 degrees there.
Yeah, he's in the middle of his summer right now. Well, we're up here freezing. Yeah. But yeah, let us know. Oh my gosh. It'd be contagious, Cooley. He's like, hang on, I'll grab a laptop. All right.
Yay!
Come on, fireworks. There they are.
Oh, every time you put your thumbs up, you get fireworks?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Here's thumbs up, give me fireworks. One thumb up, I get a like bubble. So make sure you're hitting that like, folks, out there.
Or
make sure you
look,
get
it's a hot blonde.
Yeah. And then if I'm like, oh, I want to look through my lens real quick here, try to figure this out.
Ooh.
It comes up every time.
I still say we should do our YouTube video, Milkshake Monday.
Milkshake Mondays. Dude, I would love to do that. That would be so much fun. I'm on my diet, and
We'd
I'm
all
not
weigh about
eating ice cream.
7,000 pounds in 2 weeks.
I
But
know, man. I know. I'll have to send out. I'll have to send out a weekly in advance. Like, here's this next week's recipe, and everybody that comes on live has to make their rendition of it, and we'll all have to review it.
there you go.
The yeah. Oh, the yeah.
What time is it in Australia anyway? I wonder.
I don't know, but I think it's daytime.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to say it was like 3 p.m. last time, 3 or 2 p.m. when I was on at 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's what I want to
Oh,
say it
okay.
was. Yeah.
Is it the same day or different next day or something?
I think let's see, the Earth is, I'm trying to think on the math here. Same day.
There we go. We'll do a field
Yes.
trip to Australia.
Same day.
As long as you don't do any bugs that can eat us or snakes that can bite us. And
All right. It looks like he's jumping on here. He's got some
sweet.
webcam utility issues, maybe.
Ruh-roh.
I hope it's him, because if I let him in and it's some scam thing, I'm gonna be pissed.
Wait, were you there when it happened to Robert? Remember?
I wasn't in there, but I had it happen to me.
All of a sudden, there's some guy and girl like, hello, and then
Yeah, so I had it happen to me on one. I'm not gonna let this one in until Roy, if that's you, you need to your name's misspelled, but it's still coming up webcam utility because in case we got some unofficial business happening here. But oops, I hate laptops. But yeah, they put up some inappropriate cartoon image that played for about, I don't know, I got it off within about a second, but
hello.
It takes me a second to look at it. What the hell am I looking at? Oh my god,
Click.
click, delete, get them out of there. But yeah, so if anybody ever, when I put the link up, I can preview and scan it. If I know Roy said it might be having problems with his webcam.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm not going to add anybody that doesn't have their face or image up, I guess, at this point. But I mean, I know this is probably Roy jumping in here, but it's just coming up webcam utility. But that's what I had last time was just the gray image of the person's name, and they, as soon as they got in live, as soon as he got in live, it went in and and he put that on the feed, and it's like, shit, what happens to me is I have to I once I was done with the show, I pulled the show from public, and then I had to let it process for a whole day. And then after it processed, I had to go in and delete that little segment because I didn't want that to be flagged on my advertising and all that.
Yeah.
So I had to delete that 10 seconds of that.
That could cause some bad mojo.
All right, let's just hope this is it. I'm ready to click remove if this isn't him. Somebody's trying to play. He said it's Roy. Oh, it's a Nikon webcam utility. Be hooking up
It's got to be him then.
Yeah, it's got to be him. I hear him. There he is.
Wait.
Hang on, why have I got no picture? Where's my picture gone?
I don't know. There.
Hey, tell him we didn't know he had blonde hair.
I'm on my head anyway.
Yeah.
Hello.
I haven't got a picture. That's terrible.
Oh man.
Oh, it's used to using the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, where do I change that?
You gotta have to take that version 1.1.1 to 1.832.8 or something.
It's got to have at least. It's
There he
him.
is.
It's him.
Yeah.
Well, he has some.
Here I am.
There you go. That's
Fake
working.
laptops, but here I am anyway.
Yeah.
Cool shirt though, Bob Dylan, man.
Yeah. I like black shirts because in the studio they don't reflect anything.
That's right.
I just
You know, I'm
all
working
my
when I'm wearing a black shirt.
or dark gray. You know,
Yeah.
It's like,
18% grey would be nice.
So, what's your thoughts on composite images, Roy, after your career?
I have to do a lot of that because that's what they asked for.
Is it?
Clients want that. That's what you give them.
Yeah.
But it's
Like what's the basis of what they're asking for? What are they actually looking for in a composite?
they want everything the way they want it, and that's it. You have to add 2 or 3 things together. That's what you do.
yeah.
But now I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to go as natural as I can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sort of not touch Photoshop. I'm trying to do as much straight out of camera as I can.
What about landscape work, where you got multiple images or multiple exposures or
I haven't done that in years.
yeah.
But
Are you
I've
like
done that
talking
since film days.
or done a lot of HDR stuff?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think if you can, to me, it's if you can trick the camera or not trick the camera, but use the tools the camera have to publish an image or take multiple exposures out of it, or like stacking, something of that nature, where you're capturing real data and putting it all together in the one image that was really there. That to me, I'll do. But when like I said, like I showed earlier with the sky replacement on the rock wall, that was the image I was going for. But I strictly say this is a composite because this is not. I didn't capture it that night. This is what I was going for. This is what I want to capture in real life without the clouds present. And those that I would never make a print of that composite, but if I capture it fully, even if I have to do multiple exposures, to me that's still one image, even though it may be a composite process. It's still the same frame, camera position, same real sky, same real foreground, all that to create that image. And we're just utilizing
clients
tools.
often want that composite. The client wants composite images, so that's what you have to do.
Well, right. At the end of the day, I mean, it's what you're, who's paying the bills and what do they want, kind of. But as far as the
many
artwork,
very obvious though.
Yeah,
many composites have the light coming the wrong direction for parts of it, and
right,
so obvious it's irritating.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was saying like earlier was a newer photographer coming in may not be able to tell those cues of it, and they get this misrepresentation of what may be possible, and then they sit there chasing their tails trying to do something that may not be possible. Without knowing that what they're looking at was a composite, especially with some of the stuff nowadays is really good, between, AI and the image removal tools, or like the stuff that removes objects from images. They can do it so quickly and seamlessly that, it's very easy for somebody to make something that's not real. It's like, have you seen that? I don't know if you ever follow social media, is like the TikToks. I don't follow TikTok, but I see their videos pop up in my Facebook feeds of like reality versus expectations versus reality of different like scenes in nature and like where they go or travel places, and you get this amazing image and expectation.
Well, that's just good photography, though.
Oh, it is. It is definitely good photography.
A good photographer can get the best out of it.
Oh yeah, and I like editing my image to vibrant colors and having lots of color in the images. It's just, I think one of my styles that I like is that vibrance. I don't like the colors to look necessarily fake, and that's something I try to, I've worked on from when I started out with photography to where I'm at now, and it is trying to tone that all out, not make it so like where I just max out a slider, like the early years of me.
That's the way of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You start off as dramatic as you can be, and then you tone down and become real.
Yeah, right. And I've learned a lot with color grading with video footage that, trying to make it look good on camera or on the screen when you're done is a really challenging thing to, I can make it look good on the laptop, but when I go play it back, I'm like, man, why does it look like trash? But I watch other creators on the platform or YouTube or in videos in general. It's like, no matter what I watched on, it looks fantastic. And figuring out that, those strokes of their pen, like how did they do that so well?
I wished I knew too. I'm not very good at video yet. I haven't done enough of it.
Yeah. I wanted to dive into 10-bit footage because that's what was my big driving factor in getting the FX30 was just having a camera that did 10-bit, that did all this high-end, resolutions. Well, yes, you don't need it to tell a story, but I like the technical aspect of photography. That's one of the things that's drawn me into it. I'm not an artist by any means. I don't have the eye for photography yet. I'm learning a lot about it, but I don't have that natural instinct to make it look the way I want to look. Like I said, I'm learning it, but it's something I'm not the artist photography that some people are. And like I said, I'm a gear snob. I love the gear. I love the equipment. I love the technology. That's just where my basis came from. But I love creating an amazing image that just makes me go, wow, I can't believe I shot this, and that's fun and that's enjoyable. And be able to capture it. And I have one of those images that really hooked me was one of my son, on his little pedal car or pedal tricycle. I caught him early and captured this image, thought it was amazing. I mean, I posted some photo things and I got hundreds of likes. It was a great photograph. And but the kicker was I shot it in JPEG. I never got the raw of that image. But it's still one of my favorite photographs I've ever shot. And
JPEGs are pretty good these days. They're not as bad as they used to be.
Yeah.
I know I just saw it here in my hard drive. Pull it up and show it to you guys.
Noisy birds.
I like shooting birds with the camera.
I'm glad you added that last bit.
All of a sudden, YouTube's like blocking you. You're shooting birds.
Yeah.
My wife hates the birds because they eat tomato plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We caught them yesterday having a snack.
What was it? What's the story a photographer can get away with? Well, first I shot him, then I framed him, then I hung him or something,
I used to have a sign like that. I'll shoot your wife, then hang her on the wall and blame it and frame the mother-in-law.
Yeah, right. Something like that.
I used to have that sign on the wall. I had to take it down.
I have a mother-in-law almost that evil to do that, so. Our big culprits are chipmunks, man. They sometimes they'll get in the veggie garden. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved next to a national park, so now there's plenty of wildlife to annoy my wife with.
Right.
And the wildlife has free food now.
Yeah.
Boy, I was right before I went on live tonight. I was looking through a bunch of files trying to find something, and I found that image of my son. Now I can't find it again, but yeah,
Got to be more organized than that.
I know, man. See what's happened is I've changed. Started out with the computer, and I'm shooting 80 megabyte RAWs, and I bought a hard drive. Now I've got 3 of those hard drives across 2 different computers and 2 different backups. Then I went to Mac, and half that stuff's not compatible with the Mac. So I've had to do some finagling with the hard drives to make them compatible. Now, I like having, I've got most of these copies of all my stuff like in multiple places. So I've been working on sitting down slowly and compiling it all into one spot where I can get to it all. I want to get some sort of like network drive too that I can just access.
NAS box.
Yeah, I need to invest in something. They're coming down in price too.
Mm.
They've come down quite a
I've
lot.
got one. It's I think 64 terabytes, but
Wow.
I don't want to plug it in because I'm trying to retire.
Yeah.
If I plug it in, I have to deal with all the files.
Right.
How many years have you been shooting?
Sorry.
How many years have you been shooting?
I turned pro 78.
Oh, okay.
But that was film days.
Yeah, I kind of miss those days though. Film days.
There's some things I miss, but other things I don't.
I miss the old days being like in your dark room and just kind of cranking some
I
tunes.
can do without the dark room.
It's kind of relaxing though, you know.
Easier to print it out on the printer.
Ain't it?
Send it
Yeah,
off.
you're kidding there.
I still got stains on my arms from the dark room.
Ugh.
Well,
My wife's just checking up on me, see what I'm up to.
Uh-oh.
Warm enough for you?
Yeah.
Yesterday it was 45 Celsius in Adelaide, so that's 130, so we'll get that tomorrow.
Ugh.
My studio upstairs, I haven't got it turned on because I don't want to go up there.
I don't blame you. I've kind of converted my garage into a studio. I've got like one of those like standing air conditioners that supposedly does like 400 square feet. Then I have it vented out to the attic, so above the garage. So
You have
basically,
to watch those. They'll put mold on all your lenses if
yeah,
it's evaporative.
yeah.
They make everything damp.
I keep all my camera stuff in my office here, so it's not in the garage. So. Eesh.
Hopefully, I've got very few lenses with mold.
Knock on wood, haven't had that happen
well, just do what I do and take them apart and try to clean them.
yet.
I've got one of those. It doesn't go back together yet. I haven't
Hey,
worked
bud.
out how to get back together.
I don't even know where that sucker is right now, but I know it went back together and it works.
That's a good sign.
In the newspaper, there was a friend of mine. He, I don't know what he was thinking, but he'd leave his camera equipment in the trunk all the time, and he had like 2 lenses that ended up getting molded inside the lens. And I'm like, if you took your stuff inside, you wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, we don't have too much of a mold problem here with the heat and the dryness we got here.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think a lot of this like old camera equipment I find at the antique stores are from estate sales, and it's in really good shape.
I love old cameras, but I couldn't go back to film.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to ever shoot film professionally. And the guys that did it, or that
just
still
so
do
slow.
it,
This takes so much work.
yeah.
Although I'm kind of getting a little interested in Fuji's got that one. What is it, like 100 megapixel camera now?
GFX 100S. I've seen it. It's nice, but I'd like to compare the Hasselblad first.
Yeah, the Phase 1.
No, the Hasselblad one, the
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
X2D.
Yeah.
Because I remember I tried it with the old Hasselblad, the old GFX Fuji, and the Hasselblad was better.
Oh wow.
But it was also buggy.
Huh.
It depends on what you'll tolerate with a camera. All cameras have got weaknesses,
Yeah.
but some have got more than others. I've got a Hasselblad H, which is a bigger sensor again.
Oh wow.
I've also got a phase one back for my Fuji. I've got an old Fuji 680
Oh
that has a
wow.
digital back with a phase one back on it.
Oof.
I don't use that much anymore. It's just too slow working in medium format. You just can't get anything done quickly enough.
Wow. That'd be cool though.
Don't use it much anymore. Might donate it somewhere.
I still remember the Hasselblad CMs, man. They were pretty cool. I love those cameras. 4,000 years ago, seems like now.
Now you can put a digital back on one of them,
Yeah,
but it's still going to be very slow work.
yeah.
I miss being able to flash syncs at any speed.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was pretty cool.
I tried the Sony A1 and that's got a flash syncs of 400, which is really nice.
Oof.
Every 50 or so flash sync better is good.
Yeah.
I was surprised when the Z9 and Z8 got a flash sync of only 200.
Really? I thought it was like the regular Nikon's at 250. No.
You can use 250, but you risk that black bar.
Oh, okay.
Technically, they're only up to 200, which is fairly that's one of the few disappointing things about them.
Yeah. And if I went that Nikon, I think I would just I need at least two of those, two Z9s. I'd need at least three lenses. You know?
Sorry, there's a lot of noise this end.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I said if I was to do the Z stuff, I'd probably do two Z9s and then probably at least three lenses. What, a 24-70, a 7200, and a
14 to 24.
something really wide, you know.
Yeah. If I was still working, I would have got two Z9s, but because I'm retiring, I've got Z8 and a Z9.
Oh, okay.
Just for a change.
Mm. Well, that's cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
not enough mud on him.
No, he was pretty clean, but this is just out of the camera. I couldn't find the edited version, but I want to re-edit. I need to.
You should go there
I
and
got it.
Photoshop and put Harley on the set of
Yeah,
flyers.
it has kind of that vibe where he's just looking back, like, I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Mm.
And I don't know. This is the first image I really shot with it was shot at 51.8.
There's a hottie that lives at the end of the block. I'm gonna haul out over there now.
It just has that kind of vibe to it, and it just this image really just hit home to me. And
I'm prejudiced, but I'd like a little bit of flash on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this is, like I said, this is just out in the front yard goofing off, and I lightened them up in my edit, of course. But yeah, if I had properly lit and all that, it'd be great. But yeah, this is the image that really just solidified me into photography. This is just cool when you can nail a shot like that. And, yeah, it's not perfect, but it was just
so easy now with digital mirrorless cameras.
Yeah,
hard to take a bad shot.
Yeah. So definitely was one of those shots. But now I got it up, I'm going to re-edit it. We'll do that tonight.
It's easier to get right in the first place.
Yeah, put it into some of the newer software, because that image was taken 7 years ago.
Mm. I still got the first digital images I took about 2004.
Oh wow!
They're not that bad.
I started shooting digital. I had a film camera in high school, just a little point and shoot. I always wanted a lens camera, but never bought one. Then I started getting into digital. I had some of the early Sony digital cameras, 5 megapixel era stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Had a 1.5 megapixel Sony camera that was a full manual option camera, but it was still, it had a big lens on it and everything, but it was still just a fixed camera. And then it wasn't until I moved out here to Texas, started making some good money, that I actually started buying camera gear and got into the mirrorless game. But I've always taken pictures, always liked presenting photographs as gifts to people, and that I've shot of them, or action shots of them, or just always liked doing that. And that was one of my things I've always done and continue to do.
Capture the moment.
Yeah. It's fun to do. I've always carried a camera with me on my adventures, and that's one of the things I always wanted to have, a nice camera with me. And now I've got all these nice cameras, I don't go on adventures.
I use an old Z6 whenever I go out, and just in case I want to capture something, but something happens to it, it's no loss.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was one of my points to the old Sony A9III that I shoot. You can pick these things up used for about $1,000, and it's a powerhouse of a camera for an image, but
it is.
But if something happened to it, I'd be devastated if I lost mine. But if you just needed a second body and you had high risk stuff you were doing, that's the one to take. Don't risk a new $6,000 body.
Painful.
Throw a mid-grade lens on it.
If you're working, you can write the cost off in tax.
Yeah, right.
But if you're not,
yeah. But yeah, it's a fun deal.
Yeah, by the way, I like those lights too.
They're awesome.
I use it just to light up the keyboard because I'm always in a dark area.
Ain't it?
And this HP laptop's got a terrible keyboard. You can barely see the keys.
Every time I get a new laptop,
printed on, they're not indented.
Let's get a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse.
Yeah, I had to have a lighted keyboard. I'm always working in my shadow, no matter where I'm at.
I think mine lights up. Ooh.
I wear out keyboards. The letters wear off.
Huh?
The letters wear off on mine.
Wow. I've never had that problem. I've had them like where they, I was doing something. I start like 8 in the morning and it stopped at 8 at night. And the batteries, because of my keyboards are chargeable, and it just went, ooh, like crap.
I don't use wireless keyboard or mouse. I think they're better than they used to be, but they're always running out on me too. I just use wired ones.
Yeah. Yesterday believe it or not, I was doing Santa pictures, and she originally wanted me to set up I have like an 8x10 dice up printer. She wanted me to print packages there. I'm like, no. So I ended up emailing them all to, like, had a laptop. I hooked up to the place's Wi-Fi and was just emailing the images to them, and it was done,
Yeah, this guy at the Mall, one of those photographers taking pictures of kids, annoyed me one day, so I came back with the same remote control to his lights. That's called getting even.
No kidding. I did that one time. Somebody ticked me off, and they were shooting 8600s with the remote, and I knew what channel he was on. So I turned mine on to that channel. I'm like, it's like, my nights. Yeah. I know.
I like the AD600. It's got a good whack. It's cheap.
Yeah, I actually used my speed light this weekend.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I used it I stuck this in the hole in the wall when my daughter was up in the ceiling, and I was test flashing it to.
Well, that's cool.
To see so that you can see where to drop the cord.
Oh my gosh!
I haven't put it on the camera. I need to fix the mount actually to put it on the camera. It broke.
Plastic mount.
Yeah, it's not cheap. You can buy them and change out these bottom mounts on these things.
Yeah, I try to avoid buying the ones with plastic mounts.
Yeah.
I was shooting a job for a newspaper one time, and I'm walking up these stairs, and the lady walks by me and just kind of clips me a little bit, threw me off balance. I had my camera in my hand like that. I went down, snapped the flash right off the camera. I was shooting at the time with Nikon. I forgot what they were. It was one of the titanium bodies, and it was just camera did great, flash not so good.
I think that the Nikon flashes are pretty good for a speed light, but they're overpriced.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it with a lot of name brand stuff. It's like,
Yeah, most of my lights upstairs are all different brands, probably mostly Godox.
mm-hmm. Well, I've got like
Godox,
I got like 380 600s. I've got, and I've got like 6 8200s, and then I got the AB2 heads that you can combine two 8200s and make a 4-second flash. That's all my I use that stuff for my location stuff because it just works out
I've
better.
got the doubler on the 600s.
Yeah,
Give me 1200 watt seconds.
yeah.
But the good thing about the Godox is they all work together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still got my old. I still have my old photogenic 600s. I got 6 of those. I remember one time shooting I think it was like 130 police officers for a group shot, and I just took 2 of them with the raw reflectors because they're all wearing black because I guess that's the only color cops wear, and it added nice detail to the blacks. It worked awesome, you know.
Good flash meter helps.
Oh, I still have my what's it that I still have my Minolta 4 flash meter.
That's the one I recommend to a lot of people secondhand.
Yeah. Although I'm thinking
Even though I
about
use
grabbing
Sikonic
that
308.
You see that Godox one that's basically you put the little transmitter in the back, and then you set the trigger to like SB or something. I forget what the setting is for it. That way, when you set the meter, you set the lights, it communicates everything, and you can still fire the flash that's on the using the remote on the camera. So I'm a geek, I know.
Haven't seen it.
Huh?
I'm out of touch at the moment anyway. I'm trying to retire, like I said.
Yeah, I hear you.
Trying to retire. What's missing in that journey?
Yes, too much work in between.
Yeah.
I still like earning money.
Yeah. Well,
like my grandma always said, pays good money to buy good whiskey. Of course, I don't drink whiskey, but anyway.
yeah. Well, gentlemen,
So I think we should do a field trip to Australia. What do you think?
it'd be a fun one. It's one of the countries I've always wanted to visit.
Well, I've moved here and I'm happy and I'm not going anywhere else, especially with the way air flight is now.
Where'd you move from when you moved to
England.
Australia? Huh?
England.
Oh, that's cool. There we go. Field trip to England and to Australia. There you go.
I don't like it. Too much rain and cold and snow.
Yeah. Ugh.
I've never seen snow since I've been here. All the years I've been here, I've never seen snow.
Holy crap.
Yeah, does it ever get snow anywhere?
It does in the high mountains for a few weeks each year.
What would the peak elevation be in Australia?
It's not much. There's no really tall mountains.
Right.
It's the flattest continent in the world.
Oh, wow.
So it floods. A flood will cover half a state like Queensland, and that's probably twice the size of Texas. The flood.
Right. It's crazy.
The big floods, big bushfires, and lots of hotness.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the humidity. Ugh.
It's not so bad down. I'm down in Melbourne, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
But up in top of Australia, it's very tropical.
Huh.
It's their rainy season now in summer. Cyclones and things.
Ugh.
So on the you're in the southern portion of it.
Yeah, I'm down the bottom of Australia.
So
it's
you're
cool.
in the. It's
The
cooler
sensible,
down.
the
It's
sensible
cooler.
end.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious, like if it works like the northern hemisphere. I imagine it's similar to the northern hemisphere, where if you're up in Montana through the summer, your highs are in the 80s. You can hit 100, but you get cooler summers but harsher winters. But you don't get the winters down there.
No, we don't get red. Don't get cold. I think the coldest it gets about 10°C, which is what? What is that?
10 is
About 60 degrees
60
Fahrenheit.
Okay.
That's about as cold as it gets.
Yeah. We're that's our highs right now in this part of the time of the year, and then we get down to, like I said last night, it got down to 32, which is 0 Celsius. So, and I know I try to always remember the Celsius because I had to read it all the time at Mercedes. I know 40 is 104 degrees, 0 is 32, and -40 is -40. I try to remember that scale. So
yeah, I get confused whenever I have to work in Imperial.
Yeah,
metric's much easier.
Oh yeah, it is. It's just not what we see every day up here. It's so many like the metric like nuts and bolts, and like being a mechanic, everything's gone to metric, it seems like. I still have a standard, like a lot of the industry I'm in the hydraulic world, it's all standard still, but you'll have metric fittings with standard sizes.
Here's a winner.
Yeah. Because the sizes have to be standard, but the fittings don't. Or it's weird.
I like some German cars because all the bolts and that are all the 1 or 2 sizes, and you only need a couple of spanners.
It is. It's true. You do. And the other thing I loved having on was e-torques. I don't know if you've ever dealt with the e-torques. It's the reverse torques. Such a better bolt head than a standard hex. And of all my years working in wrenching, I only had one fail. Of course, it was the worst one that could. It was the cylinder head bolt that we ended up having to pull the engine out to get it out, because it was like an E16, it was a big bolt. And I put the socket on it and I put the breaker bar on to break it loose, and it literally just stripped the bolt head of the e-torques right off the top of the bolt head. And we had to send that whole block and head out to the machine shop, have them bore that head off so we could get the head off and then extract the bolt. Nightmare. But that was the only time, and that was obviously a bad heat treat on that bolt. That's all there was to it. Because there one time you yield to stretch bolts that Mercedes used on the cylinder head. So what that meant was when you tightened it and you torqued it, it put a stretch to the bolt, and that stretch wouldn't go away. So once you used it, it was consumed. So if you had to undo it for whatever reason, you had to put new bolts in. And torque to yield, that was what they were called. But that particular bolt, the second I put it on there, I put a little force to it, it broke, and I thought, all right, good. And then I realized, no, something's wrong. I pulled it out, and just the little piece of it on top of the bolt head came off.
But that was a problem.
Well, big problem.
Yeah, that was a big problem. So
we're getting a lot of those Canadian. We don't see Phillips as much anymore. We see those Canadian square heads. The hole with the square in it.
It's called a Robinson bit.
That's it. Yeah.
And we see them in the U.S. on the electrical outlet. All the electrical connections on the screw terminals for the wire, and I actually talked about it in my build because I learned about it, has that square head with the flat on it. And you can put a Phillips, a flat blade in it or whatever, but you don't get the torque out of it like a Robinson bit would if you got the actual square drive in there with the flats. Yeah, I found that. I got to buy me some of them. I asked the tool guy. We had the, because we see I at the work I work at, we get the snap on and the Mac guy coming in, and I hit the Mac guy up because he was there, and I said, "You got those Robinson bits?" He didn't know what they were, so he had to look them up.
Mm.
But
I've
yeah,
started to see them everywhere. They're becoming very common.
Really, it's a phenomenal bit and a great way to hold
I
the
like
screw
them.
down.
They're nice and safe and reliable.
Yeah, they won't round. You get good torque on them, and yeah, no, I really like them. And the electrical world's had them here for probably 20 years in the U.S. It seems like when you go back to old outlets, but that's the only spot we see them in. I haven't seen them in a car. Haven't seen them. I know none of my bit kits have that bit in it. It's a special bit.
Mm.
And you can find it at Home Depot or Lowe's or the big stores like that that sell the electrical stuff. I want a screwdriver for it. But yeah, it's I know, like, when metric is so much simpler of a process, and it makes physical sense. You know, the guy that came up with Fahrenheit, he went somewhere and says, "Well, when's it hot? Is it hot yet? No, it's not hot yet. Is it hot yet? No, it's not hot. Okay, today it's hot. Okay, that's 100.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Oh, when's it cold? When's it cold? You know, oh, it's not cold yet. It ain't cold yet. Okay, it's cold today. Okay, well, they'll make that 0. Where, Celsius is based off of, the 100 is boiling water, and we're
Only
water
at sea
boils.
level, though.
Yeah, and the freezing is 0, which is our 32 degrees, is when ice forms.
I don't think it makes too much difference with Fahrenheit and Celsius. It's inches and centimeters is more of a problem, I think.
Yeah, I deal with that constantly in my work because, like, they'll be spec'ing a hydraulic pump, and the spec comes in to say it's from Italy. It's in cubic centimeters, and I got to convert it to cubic inches. Which then I have to convert to gallons instead of liters. So
yeah, that's where metric becomes easier.
Yeah, right.
I believe NASA had that problem with that probe on Mars. Some of them were working in inches and some were working in centimeters.
Oh, yeah.
And they got very confused and the thing crashed.
Oh, jeez.
Only a few $1 million, I think. 6 million or something it cost them.
Which probe was that?
One of the Mars probes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just I don't know. I wish they would go away from it all. It never will happen, though. It's just like daylight
There's still 2
savings
countries
time.
using Imperial. I think American Guiana or someone.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll never get rid of our miles per hour.
Because it's so easy to work with, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I would love to see it go away and become all metric, because there's a reference point to it, with I'm good at inches and stuff. I understand all that, but it's
clumsy.
It's clumsy. Yeah, it's just half-assed. How many feet in a mile? It's like 5,200 feet. Well, what does that even mean? How many meters in a kilometer? 1,000.
Simpler.
Yeah.
How far away is it? It's 2 kilometers. Okay, it's 2,000 steps. Yeah. Well,
then you got nautical miles and just to make things more complicated.
Yeah, knots and
fathoms and
I never bothered to learn that stuff.
Much easier.
I try to understand knots more because I like watching a lot of airplane stuff and understanding the knot speed versus like miles per hour or kilometers per hour. But that's a weird conversion. It's not too far off, but it's off enough to matter.
Good for confusing people.
Yeah. You ever hear the LA Speed story?
No, what's that?
So Google that one. It's a recording from an SR-71 pilot, and he talks about. You just got to listen to it. You ever hear that one, Cooley?
I think I might have. Yeah.
Yeah, the LA Speed story is these pilots are cruising in an SR-71 Blackbird, and you got to find the one that's got the original recording from the pilot telling it, because the story is great. And you got to, if you haven't heard it, you got to just hear it from him. But
Oh yes, I've got on the screen.
okay, yeah, it's that one's classic. Yeah, give that a watch.
I would love to just go up once in an SR-71 and just let them light it up. You know.
Yeah,
It's amazing how old these planes have got, though, isn't it? They're still
Yeah, I know.
using them.
well, my grandfather, he was in aerospace for a number of years, and it's amazing because as I was learning Mercedes and seeing all this high end tech, back in 2005 to 2015, what cars were coming out with. He goes, "That's all the stuff we had in the 70s back in airplanes."
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he spent a lot of time with he worked for McDonnell Douglas, Pratt and Whitney. He's got man hours in all sorts of different aircraft and engines, and as an engineer with them, and he's actually he gave me a bunch of old paperwork, like cutaways and diagrams of jet propulsion engines and how they work, and so I could study them and learn it. And it's always just cool stuff because he's got some real good insider information, man. It's always like if you ever get up to Oregon, you go to the Evergreen Museum, Aviation Museum. That's where they've got the Spruce Goose.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
Oh man, that's something else to see that plane sitting in there. But the museum itself, I've been there twice. Once in its infant. Well, I take that back. I actually was there when the Spruce Goose. I was a kid when the Spruce Goose was just moved there, and it was still in pieces, sitting in a plastic hangar, trying to protect it from that Oregon weather. And then eventually, they finally got it assembled. They hired guys that actually worked on building the thing. Got them out there, and they helped assemble the thing. And they built it on a dry pedestal that holds the whole of it, and it sits there balanced on this pedestal. And it's sunken
That'd
into
be a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, it's sunken into the concrete bedding. These big steel structures that hold it, and it's just sitting there, like it's on water, kind of, sitting on the concrete. And
Probably the closest to flying it'll ever get.
right, and
That's about as far up as it got to when it first did its flight.
And they had an SR-71 there. They've got a Messerschmitt there. They've got a cockpit framework to a Zero there.
Oh yeah.
Which there's none of those planes around. They're like, we're trying to build this one from pieces. So if anybody has any pieces, please contact us. But they had, all the jet propulsion. They had a bunch of space stuff. They had, replicas of the lunar landers and the stuff there. But then they expanded. They built an IMAX theater, and then they built a whole nother museum equal to the size. Now, the Spruce Goose is inside this building, and I'm sure I could pull up photos for you guys if I wanted to, but because I've got tons of photographs of all this. But they moved all the jet propulsion era into that new building, and all the prop era, was in this older building where the Spruce Goose sits. And one of the guys in there said 90% of the planes in that museum at the time were flight ready with the pre-checklist done. The only ones that weren't flight ready was the SR-71, because it's not allowed to be on display in a flight ready status. Both engines are not allowed to be near the plane while it's on display. Only one engine can be with the plane and has to be removed from the fuselage. To this day.
A nanny state, is it?
Huh?
A nanny state where they don't
Yeah.
want to.
nobody's getting a hold of that plane and taking it off out of there and disappearing with it because the plane's maintained immaculately otherwise, but it has to be maintained in that any SR-71 on display in the country has to be in that state where one engine's put away and not with the plane, and the other engine's out of the fuselage on the service dolly. And then it's got the starting card underneath it. That's this old Chevy small block V8 that somehow goes up and starts the engine. But they had the model, or not the model, the actual camera off of it sitting on a pedestal. And the images this thing would take flying at Mach 3 from 80,000 feet. The resolution of this old camera is just, I would love to see the insides of it. But a lot of it is still shrouded in secrecy and considered top secret. The tech in
I
that
thought it'd be
camera,
old technology by now, all those years ago.
yeah, they keep that in secret. They've never released the true top speed of the bird. Yeah, it's just interesting stuff, But along with that, with the other planes that were not flight ready, was the Spruce Goose, only because it required water to take off. But they maintain the plane in a flight ready condition, and all the engines fire up and run on it. They have startup weekends where you can come out and pay an extra fee, and you can come out when they start all the engines and run them. All the front windows and all the rear windows in the whole museum louver open to create airflow, and they can fire up all the engines on it. And there's a man standing at every engine during the flight engineer.
Did you see where they came out with I guess there's a newer, it's an SR-75 now, but it uses like the ramjets. So when they would show it flying, you'd see the pulses coming out of the back of the engine.
I've heard of something like that.
It's like, but
is that a ramjet or a scramjet?
Huh?
Is that a scramjet or a ramjet?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it gets to a certain speed, then the front doors of the engine close, and it's like I guess they call controlled explosions of the engines. It gives it that, I don't know. I gotta watch that video again.
Yeah, I don't know what that one is either.
It's like they said over Mach 3. Can you imagine going over Mach 3?
The guy James May out of that Top Gear series.
Yeah, I love that show.
He has a special out there where he got to go up with the U-2 spy plane.
Oh, see, that'd be kind of cool too.
That's a good one to find. I don't know what it's on, but I did watch that one day where they chased the car, they chased the plane down with like Corvettes or something, or Camaros, or I can't remember what hot rod car has always been the chase car. It's another pilot telling the pilot of the plane when he's going to touch down or something. Coordinate the landing.
Basically, just a giant glider, though, and that was some jets in it.
Yeah, it's shaped like one, isn't it? With tiny little wheels at the end of the wings.
Yeah. But he has a whole series about the prep and doing all that and getting it to go up, and the footage from he got to shoot, at 80,000 feet from that plane. And then,
we should give up cameras and go into cars. We get more action.
Right. Speaking of Top Gear, you guys watch the Clarkson's Farm?
I've seen some of it. I think that guy's a lot smarter than he seems.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. He's an entertainer for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite, if you watch the Amazon Top Gear specials after they got fired from the BBC, is the one in Mongolia. The special they did going to Mongolia, where they're dropped off in the middle of nowhere, not a sign of civilization anywhere, and they're standing there. They have a camera guy and a crew with them, I guess, but they're given nothing, no direction, no nothing. And about an hour later, a helicopter comes in and drops off a whole bunch of crates on parachutes, and there's a whole freaking truck inside they got to build from scratch.
Oh, man.
But it's just an epic series, man. Those journeys those guys took. I love watching those series, and it makes me want to go out and do that and film those kind of things. Get a group of my friends together. It's all right. Here's $500. Go buy a car. We're going to drive across the country only on back roads.
Yeah, I think I like their Top Gear stuff better than their Grand Tour.
The first 2 seasons of Grand Tour weren't. I didn't really care for it.
They're the ones I've seen.
Yeah, but the specials are still really good. The ones where they go somewhere and buy a car, or get a car, or had to do a trip, and those are always those were all really top notch, even in Grand
Getting
Tour.
very old now, those three, though.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
I know they feel.
Yeah, they there was 22, 23 seasons on BBC,
Yeah.
I think, and yeah, I remember going back watching a lot of the Mercedes reviews they did, back in the late 90s, the 2000s on some of the cars back then, and then compared to what they had now. But
I like simple cars, though. I like
Yeah.
simple cars.
I enjoyed the Clarkson's Farm series so far. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's a great big tractor.
Yeah, the Lamborghini.
Of course.
Yeah,
What else do you think he'd drive?
right.
Lamborghinis actually made tractors before they made cars.
Yeah.
I drove the military version of their four-wheel drive. It was quite strange. That was many years ago.
You know what the biggest pile of crap is to drive is the damn Hummer. That thing, it's a cool looking vehicle. It's a very capable vehicle. But I've driven the civilian version of it, which is the luxury, padded up seats and stuff. It is the roughest riding piece of shit. It just, it was horrible driving it. It was, badass vehicle, but just a horrible driving experience. And then, of course, you got this big wide body, and I had to sit in it all cramped up to the window like this because that's how much room the driver gets.
Yes,
and you have this big giant hump in the middle that's just dead space. Made no sense at all.
Don't you love engineers?
Oh yeah. The other cool cars are very similar to that is the old Land Rover Defenders, the limited edition ones that are worth 40, 50 grand. They sit like that, all crammed to one
Yes,
side
that's
too.
right. I know.
You probably got a few of them rolling around down there.
We've mostly got Toyotas, mostly Land Cruisers, because they're so reliable.
Right.
They have to be here.
Yeah, they definitely have to be. But yeah, I was watching a thing the other day. The most reliable truck in the U.S. for least problems. It was the damn Tundra, the old one. Which that truck run since 2007. A 16-year lifespan on that truck.
Yeah. They don't build them for simplicity anymore, or reliability, do they?
No.
Trouble is that with so much electronics in a new car, one thing goes wrong and you're in trouble.
Yeah, my stereo doesn't work, so my car doesn't start now.
Going to be worse with electric cars.
The electric cars are going to be interesting to see how that all fares out. Like I said, I've said this in the past on this channel, and these lives we end up on cars a lot, and you're going to see people paying a subscription to have a car. You will no longer buy or lease a car with these electrics and these EVs.
And trouble is, if the car company goes out of business, the car don't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many different problems with that. But yeah, you're going to see people on subscription plans. Yeah, you'll drive a car for 2 or 3 years on a subscription, and you come get a new one, and they're going to recycle the car.
It's just a little more high-tech lease, basically.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the U.S. handles this, the California mandate of 2035 or whatever it is to be all electric, because they can't even keep the power on in their state, let alone let alone deal with the electric grid and have everybody charging car. And they've already come out and said on the peak times for charging on the weekends, hey, don't charge your electric cars on Saturdays or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Getting mad, isn't it?
They're already saying it's too much.
Yeah. And who knows? Newsom may run for president and take Biden's place. So,
Oh God.
Your politicians are a good laugh, aren't they?
Oh man, it's sad. It's sad.
It's very amusing. The whole world is amused by your presidents.
especially Biden, man. Now it's like, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll keep politics off this channel, but yes, you can make comments like that. It's just sad.
Yeah, son.
Yeah. I got to see Trump land here when he was last year in office. Got to see Air Force One come in and land. But
I don't think you could get a decent president for a while yet.
yeah, the whole system over here is so bad. It's just scary, and it's not going to get any better with the way people think.
People are too easily influenced.
It's like I was at jury duty today, and you could just tell, like, with people, it's just I didn't get picked, but
People can't think for themselves anymore, so
no, they can't.
they just go with the flow.
There's been that study. Well, there's two things. They did a study, like, by giving people will naturally go with the flow or with wrong information if everybody else is, even when they know the information is, just so they don't sound different. And
turning into lemmings.
Yeah. And then there's that whole study done. What's the name of it? It was like done back in the 70s. There's a saying that tough time create tough men. Tough men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create tough times.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And
for sure.
And it's been repeated through history time and time again. And there was a study done in the 70s, and I can't remember what the study was called, something experiment, where they did it with mice. And when the mice no longer had to fend for themselves, or they were fed all the time, the male population of the mice reverted to that, like, a feminist trait where they just sat back, got lazy, and didn't do anything. And,
were they Californian mice?
They were, and that's exactly what's happening with
with the
people
world
now. Is where there are no tough men being made anymore.
But even in the films we watch, the hero tough guys, they don't come across as that tough anymore.
No.
You can feel it's all an act, and there's no real story behind them.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, though, I really like the John Wick series. That's pretty cool. But that's just flat out crazy killing.
I haven't ever watched the John Wick's ones. I need to get into those.
Yeah, I like it too. But it's just pure violence.
Oh,
yeah.
If you want, like, I don't know. I compare it to,
I think Keanu Reeves is at least believable.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of them are not.
And the way he kills people, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I gotta watch that one.
I want his suit, though. He has that suit that's like bulletproof. I don't know. I just feel like, you're walking through a mall and they start shooting, you're like, no problem.
Yeah, I gotta. What's the other one I watched? On Amazon was the Reacher. That was a good one.
Yeah, the new one's out, I think, right now, and then they've already started on season 3.
Did season 2 launch?
I thought it did already. No.
I want to say it hadn't as of last week. It
First
seemed
one
like I
was
was in there checking and it hadn't started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see
I'm
that
waiting for
one.
the new Star Trek too. Star Trek: Strange New World. I'm waiting for that to
Mhm.
pop.
I've seen it. It's not as exciting as the old ones. Good special effects, but the stories are pretty weak.
Well, did you see the last season?
I
Or
did, if I can remember it.
did
It was so
you?
memorable, I can't remember it.
They did a singing episode.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that
right.
was hilarious. But remember the Gorg? I guess this is the new enemy that they're fighting.
Yeah.
Wow, pretty
Gorn,
bad
yeah.
even when you get bit, you turn into one. You know.
At least it's not as bad as Discovery.
Eh,
Discovery,
it wasn't bad, but didn't like blow my skirt up. You know.
it kind of fell off when they ended up in the future. Like, what, they didn't know what to do.
Mm.
You know, like they're trying to figure out, like, well, they just, there's no direction or what's happening. They regained, you know, contact with the Federation. They reestablished it. They fixed a warp drive problem in a matter of months or whatever time frame that they haven't
Yeah.
figured out in how many hundreds of years. It's like, come on.
I don't know. Once you do Starship Enterprise, don't mess with it.
Yeah. It seems to get worse with each series, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm hoping this next series for Strange New World's gonna be pretty cool because they left it at where he was having a hard time deciding what to do against the Gorg because they beamed up most of the inhabitants on the planet that were human. You know, I guess they had a long trip and they needed snacks. You know, but
I'm hoping that new one kicks off with that left off at Picard.
yeah. See, I like that series. That wasn't too bad. The first was like, second one got better. The last one was awesome.
Yeah.
I think Picard's he's getting a bit too old for the part, though.
Yeah.
Oh, they wrote him out there at the end. He's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to live forever because remember in season 2?
No. He said they gave him a solid 20 more years or something. In that end of that first season, he gets it. We got spoilers happening if anybody's watching with that seen Picard, but
like the first season though, they gave him a new body, the robot people.
And they said they only gave him 20 more years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just remember that one. So
yeah,
I know in sci-fi you can fix these problems and get plots and. But it's a bit silly after a while.
The nice thing about Picard was they gave that crew a good send off compared to where the last movie left it. Yeah. And I always liked the last movie, but I never really thought much about the story and how they left the crew, and that was it. I don't know if they plan to make more movies after that or not, but it really, they killed off Data. They did all these things that just didn't finish out the story, and I think Picard, doing it 20 years later, really wrapped it up and ties it into a nice finishing element for him and moves on to the next crew. And if they make that series out of with the Titan or the new Enterprise, if they get Jerry Ryan to be captain of that, it could be probably a really good series.
I have to admit, I think she'd make a really hot captain, though. That's another story.
The thing that I kind of, and you get this anywhere in new modern television now is.
I think I'm being told something. Whatever this means.
What time is it there? We're at midnight.
It is 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like I may have to go, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, watch that LA Speed Story, and get a good laugh at that one.
The other computer ready to watch.
Yeah, give that a shot. That's a quick 5-minute story. It's pretty dang good.
On the screen.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Ta-da!
Yep.
Anyway, I'll leave you guys to play.
All right.
Well,
good talking to you, Roy.
Come by more often, okay?
I'll try to.
All right, cool. Later.
It's every Tuesday here.
Every Tuesday.
You're on Tuesday?
Yeah, we're Tuesday.
Tuesday at 4 right now.
They're
4:30.
Traveling forward in time. He's got a time machine.
Yeah. See, my Monday live doesn't work that way for you.
It's
Oh,
Tuesday kind of.
okay, guys.
All right, man.
See
Later.
you, right.
Have a
good
good one.
evening.
See
Bye.
ya. Yeah, the world is so weird the way it works.
Mm.
So if he's
Actually, as far as politics, I wish Kennedy would have run for the Kennedy guy, because I don't know.
yeah, there's lots of things that just need to change.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be president, so
Oh, I thought maybe I ran for Hobart Township Board, and I mean, I actually got a lot of votes, which I was kind of surprised. And I basically ran all my campaign from Facebook. You know?
yeah. It's all a popularity contest, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I wish they would just set just term limits and pay limitations.
Yeah.
It would weed out all the filth and the
What
crap.
would happen if they just said you can work for the government but you don't get paid? You know?
Well, I don't think it's not work for the government. It's be it hold a position, office, a position or something, and you have 4 years in that position, and you make $100K a year, or whatever the median is. That's what you earn.
They should take like the median income of the people in your state, and that's what you get paid.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I agree completely with that. And then 4 years and that's it. You're done. You move on to the next person. No matter what the office is.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a crazy, crazy universe, man.
Yeah. Well, I think I about had it too.
Yeah, me too.
I gotta go back to work, and we got some busy stuff happening at work now, so I actually gotta do real work. Yeah, it's I gotta try to get some filming done now that I got somewhat of a place to film at. I gotta start reading some scripts I've written and start getting a video produced, and I gotta do that, and then
I'm telling you, man, Milkshake Monday.
I know, right? Want to get there.
If I don't know, if I decided to splurge, pick me up a nice, at least a decent, like 4K camera, and I've got a couple of those like circle lights, like used for like selfies and stuff. Like my whole kitchen, and say, today we're doing chocolate chip, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's a milkshake.
right.
Yeah.
That's all it would take.
I don't know what the ramifications if I decide to use some liquor in it, but
Right. Tell you what, you get a pretty dang good milkshake.
after about the fourth swig, you're like, all right, I think I'm ending this now. I'm gonna go and drink my milkshake.
I didn't watch it live, but if you go back on, you ever find Make Art Now? You ever seen his content?
No.
Okay, so you gotta go watch Anamorphia, and then watch Anamorph. There's a second Anamorphia, and he's been working on the third, and it's been said he's working on it. But Make Art Now, this guy, Josh Yo, his YouTube channel, he's got some good stuff. All his content was just produced in a top-notch way. But Anamorphia was a lens review on the lens, and he made a production film out of this thing. And then Anamorphia 2 is just as good. I mean, so watch those are worth a watch.
Yeah.
And also, if you get into a rabbit hole here, if you really want to, I don't know how you like riddles or not.
Like what?
Riddles?
Riddles? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you watch Anamorphia, at the end of that,
Uh-huh.
there's recording, and you'll say, "Oh, that doesn't sound right," because it's not right. But if okay, nobody's on right now, so I think it's just me and you. So if anybody comes in and actually watches this the 2 hours and 40 minutes we've been live, then I guess they've earned it. If you listen to that recording and it's played backwards, so you record that, you put it into the editor, flip it around, he tells you where to go, and he starts you out on this little quest in his YouTube channel
Oh God.
to earn free LUTs and downloads by getting. And I mean, some of these riddles are like deep too, and you have to almost watch every one of his videos to get this. As far as the planning that he put into this and the layers was just unbelievable. And then when Anamorphia 2 came out, like I sat there for a good month with a notepad figuring this shit out. I was having fun with it, and he did it. It was a fun little project. He just hid it in his channel.
It was
It's
a rabbit hole that came out the other side of the earth.
he just hid it in his channel, and it's just unbelievable the amount of work and effort he put into just hiding this. You know, and to find the answers when you get into, I'm assuming it's still all up and working, but you get into it and you find the answers, and I mean, oh my God, I've got my notes somewhere because there's like timestamps you have to figure out in videos. There's certain things that happen in the video you have to that are the answers. I mean, it was something else. It was a lot of fun. But then he did a second one that was harder out of Anamorphia 2, I believe. And I started into it, but then I got some cross lap. And I would find like something 5 steps in on something. And I'm like, well, where's the rest of it? And then I'd be trying to go back. And it got to a point I'm like, I got to stop.
Run, do not walk. Run, do not walk.
But either way, Anamorphia was an amazing film he made for a lens review, you know. And he's a very talented, you know, artist. He's a failed Hollywood actor that went cameraman.
Huh.
And you know, he did that down there, and he's very good with Sony cameras. That's where, you know, how I found him was his Sony camera content. And then you know, he didn't produce he doesn't have a channel. He's got, you know, 300,000 plus subscribers, but or at the time he did. I haven't followed him really lately. He moved and he moved somewhere up near you, I think. But he I don't know whereabouts exactly, one of the flat states up there. But he's, you know, he's had a kid now, and all that's happened, but some of his videos are just top notch. I mean, he, you know, where people are pumping out content left and right, he's actually spending 3 months on a project and just fine tuning it and detailing, and it's just really good work.
So here's my question: I wonder why Robert basically stopped doing.
He stopped doing the lives because they weren't as beneficial to his channel growth as he thought they would be. I've considered whether or not I should keep doing them, just because there is no benefit to the channel with the live right now, and that's kind of interesting, you know, that you get a group of core guys. I got I got Roy that have been popping in. Roy's been in the last few weeks. Roy showed up like when you wouldn't make it in, Roy would make it in. And this is the first time I think you both maybe were on here together. But he just said, he goes, for the amount of work and effort he was putting into the live stream, because there's a lot of prep work you got to do it right, and I don't do that. I just hop on and I go. I just, you know, it's an easy thing for me to do. It's enjoyable to sit down and relax and have a conversation with somebody. I love it when somebody else new comes into the chat and we can start talking and having a conversation. I've got a couple, you know, core viewers. I think on my channel, I can say I've got an honest 20 to 30 core viewers that watch everything I post.
Yeah.
you know, and I can see that in the analytics
The
that
last
it's
couple weeks,
returning
man,
viewers.
I had like I don't know if it was a cold or virus or something, man, but it smacked me down pretty good. So I was like basically, I was
But
lucky to stay up till 7.
but yeah, ultimately for Robert, it was just he just wasn't seeing the growth benefit to it, and he really was he's pushing hard. I mean, he's still releasing lots of content. He's doing lots of shorts. I noticed he's putting on a lot of video or like posts on YouTube, like, you know, or Instagram text, you know, message posts like that with photographs. I think he's just on the grind, and the live was just taking up too much time and too much energy that he could put elsewhere and get better results on growth, because he's working on growth.
Yeah.
And I know he stopped in a couple times on this channel and said hi, and I appreciate that, and him taking time to do that. And then you know, I got a decent little shout out from the Selective Imagery the other night. I saw you were in the chat. I don't know if you stuck around by the time I got in on the live. I was on the panel.
Which one was
Saturday. On Saturday's Selective Imagery.
Oh yeah, I kind of went in there, but it was like then I don't know. I was shooting something. I forgot what it was. So I had a couple sittings at the shoot. So
yeah, I ended up going on that one for a couple hours on Saturday night, and then and that group of guys is a real good group of guys, but they, you know, they're not. They're not. I would say there's nothing wrong with them. I just don't. I don't correlate too well with them, I guess. Maybe I enjoy watching the content, and listen to it sometimes. It's good to hop in and talk and get different perspectives on things. But yeah, it just it's good. You know, it's good just to network and get to know people out there, and it's good to see us, the smaller creators, doing that. And I think that's where live is really cool, because live just lets us communicate and talk in a way so much better than just doing YouTube by itself. And my confidence in front of the camera has changed tenfold by doing lives, because I'm talking to the camera right now, but it's like, I know I'm talking to somebody, and it's just so much more natural to talk. And now I've noticed in my filming, I'm much better at it, you know, just because I do.
Cool.
You sit down on these lives for 2 or 3 hours, and you know, it's a lot of practice in the camera you don't realize happens. So I just got to get out to making some more content, because definitely I get a lot more interest and traction off of Sony equipment content than I do anything else. And part of my studio build, you know, I was getting 20, 30 views, and then it'd level off around 50. There's a lot of effort goes into it for not much return. And that's where I'm like, well, I need to get back to just making good, solid Sony content for people. And that's what I'm going to focus on. And, you know, I've got things in the works now. Like I said, I've walked into the door now with Sony. So I have contacts with Sony. I have, I don't want to say too much on, you know, public face, but, you know, nothing's official. Nothing's, you know, there's no contracts, nothing like that. I don't have an NDA signed with them, so I'm not getting new unheard of gear or anything like that. I think it's all possibilities. You know, the A9III is out there in Dallas. They said they had one of them right now. You can't keep your images off of it, but he's working on getting us a shoot together, maybe in Dallas at one of the colleges, where they'll have a few different things to shoot, bring out a bunch of people. And they said they'd let me know when that happens. So it's just having, you know, a lot of contacts and notice with the brand is really cool. And I want to continue to support that, because that was kind of an ultimate goal with this channel, was, you know, just to do Sony stuff, and it's the brand. I'm a fanboy 100%, you know. And well, I love photography. I've always had Sony for everything I own, just about. So now I've got that kind of link with them, and I have emails and contacts and people to talk to, and I got an affiliate now with them, so I've got that. I have to still figure that out. That's a little different than like Amazon or anything like that, because Amazon affiliate is another thing, you know, revenue source I have for this channel, but it's very minimal. It's nothing to write home about, but it's there every now and then. And then You know, Sony could be a lot bigger and better if I can figure out how to market it in my content a little bit to help support the channel and help support growth. But we'll see.
Yeah, dude. Well, I think I'm gonna go and hit the road here,
Yeah, me too.
and then I'll try to make next Monday. It just seems like lately it's been, I don't know, I've been trying to times 10 get my stuff done and stuff, and it's just I still got like the 400 some images to go through to edit them. So
yeah. Well, I will be on Monday if I see a posting.
but that's cool.
I'll probably definitely, like I said, this week I got to get some recording done and get
That's cool.
some content created. It'll just come down to the day of like whether or not I feel like doing it, because, and like I said, also work has been.
Same here.
I've got some issues at work that may prevent me from really focusing this next week. We'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, I'll be on. I'm around, and you can always.
You got to keep the money flowing, man.
Yep, and I'm always, you can always find me. Get a hold of me through a video or something.
All right, dude. Well, have fun.
Yep, you have a good one, sir.
I'm gonna try to. Later.
See ya. Have a good night.
Bye.
And with that, folks, I'm going to wrap things up here. I appreciate Roy and Cooley coming on tonight. Good times having them on and chatting with them. Thanks for stopping by. If you stopped and watched, make sure you hit that like button if you're catching this in the end. And if you are one of the super troopers that watch the entire live stream, make sure you're always hitting that live and hitting the subscribe button so get notifications for upcoming events. In the meantime, I am done. I'm fried. I look like it on the camera. That was a 3-hour live right there almost. We're gonna shut things down here. So with that, folks, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you. We'll see you later. And somewhere I'll find the end button where I find my mouse. There it is. Good night.